Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us for the very, very first episode of the return of the Primecast. Obviously, it's not going to be titled that; it's just going to be the Primecast. But this is something I've been mulling over for a little while now, because I had so much fun doing the weekly wrap up with Doom, and Doom is going to be gone for an unforeseeable amount of time from content creation. I wanted something to kind of fill the void and kind of keep that fun rolling. So we're gonna do things my way for a little while and see how you guys like it. Of course, I will not be going into this journey alone. He was a regular on the weekly wrap up. Often joked about him being kind of just hanging out in the basement, but super awesome guy, super awesome content creator. Let's give a warm welcome to my co-host, Hoarder Gamer. What's going on, Hoarder? How you doing tonight?
I'm good. Hello, everybody.
Excellent, excellent. So we have one hell of a first show, and we're already overbooked, so it ought to be a fun one tonight. So first person I am going to introduce is he's been an FGC buddy of mine for a long time, turned brother, and he's helped me out through a lot of stuff. Let's go ahead and welcome Lionheart. How you doing, Lion?
Good, man. How's it going?
Excellent. Doing real good. Next up on the docket is yet another one of my FGC brothers in arms. I don't know if I want to just call him Jackal or Pretty Boy Jackal or the Armory. He's got 30 different names at this point, but what's going on, Jackal?
Man, many names and many talents. That's just,
and last,
that's just I can explain it.
But not least, a friendship so long that it pretty sure needs a hip replacement at this point. Ladies and gentlemen, the man of Tarkov himself, Fudge Grande.
What up, nerds? How y'all doing?
Comes right in and insults everybody. Fantastic.
Oh, whoa. Nerd is not an insult. How dare you, sir?
It's not.
Thank you.
All right, so we
Someone's on my
have
side.
one hell of a show ahead of you guys. We got a few topics that we're going to talk about. Some of us are going to take the lead in other bits, and some I'm just going to kind of handle myself. Starting with our very first subject, I'm going to go ahead and just bore you right out of the gate. Unless you're part of this brood, then hey, welcome to the fold. And that is going to be Destiny 2 Into the Light, how it's been so far, leading into the final shape, what could potentially be the final expansion for Destiny 2. And we're going to dig a little deeper and just see what the blue hell were they smoking when they decided on the raid date this year. So, since this man has shared in my pain quite a bit for two worlds firsts at this point, we're going to move you over here, Lion.
Ooh, it's comfy over here. It's comfy.
Yeah. All right. So, Into the Light has been out for about a week now. Come Tuesday, it will be 2 weeks. Actually, no. It'll be leading into like week 3 of Into the Light. Now, you stepped away from Destiny for quite a while. How have you enjoyed your time back?
I'm not gonna lie. I've actually pretty much enjoyed a lot of the different changes. You already know I'm PvP player first and foremost, so been trying trials, comp. It's been pretty good. Into the Light content, like Onslaught, it's pretty fun. We did some runs the other day.
Yeah.
And overall, like, I would say I am really impressed with how they've been handling the game as of late. They, even as far as like communication, hey guys, we see your feedback on this. We're changing this. This is when we're doing it. Like, overall, like, I will say I've been enjoying it quite a bit, and it's keeping me entertained for a bit,
And Hoarder, have you partaken in Destiny 2 Into the Light at all? I already know Fudge and Jackal have not. Sure. They will come in and watch me occasionally do it. They live vicariously through me on that department, much like I do with Fudge and Tarkov. I'll watch him do it, but I'm not going to do it. But have you taken in any interest?
I'm really big on the PvE aspect of Destiny. So would you say I should wait till the final shape, or do you think I should go back in now?
Honestly, I would say if you're already caught up with everything from like wherever you started to the latest expansion, which is Lightfall, go ahead and hop in now, because to shine a little light on Into the Light is like a month-long event. to kind of not only give veteran players something to do and something to chase, it also brings in a brand new game mode to entice brand new players to come into the fall, and that is Onslaught. And Onslaught is a either 10 wave or 50 wave horde mode.
Okay.
That takes place on various
That sounds
stages.
awesome.
Yeah, that takes place on various stages through some of the PvE and PvP maps. And to entice people further, some of these beloved weapons like the Midnight Coup, the Mountaintop, the Recluse, the Hammerhead, they have unvaulted these weapons and re-released them completely free of charge. Go chase and focus these weapons to your heart content until you get the god roll that you want. And every single shred of this content is free.
Yeah, because I was not big on the most recent pay expansion, but I loved Forsaken, and I absolutely loved the Witch Queen.
Yeah, don't worry. None of us like Lightfall. Not even
Okay.
Yeah.
Every single one of us were like, "What the fuck was this?"
Yeah.
Wasn't it like $60 or something?
Pretty much every expansion is about that. Like, it's kind of like a yearly investment with Destiny.
It's like 100 something if you get like the full version, but if you just want a single season, it's like 40.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so it's like 40 for the expansion. If you want just the expansion and that's it, 40, you're done. And then it was like $10 a season, or you could do 100. They gave you some pre-order stuff, and you just had everything for the entire year.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, I just used Game Pass. All right, I just waited my turn. When it finally came around this way, I was like, "Oh, I've seen this around a few times. You know what? I'll check it out. I'll see what's going on."
I got really jealous for a little bit for the Game Pass people, because it's like, oh, I'm just gonna play the story part.
I have told probably you and countless others that you need to sign up for the service. All right, it's a pretty damn good service. Okay, I'm just but you've already
I'm a
committed
Destiny
so
player.
much.
I already spent the money. Like,
yeah, that is very unfortunate.
Yeah,
I got a lot to say about the Game Pass thing, but that's not the topic right now.
We'll save that for the bonus round if we have time, because I don't want this popcorn to go to waste. Just watching Ryan and Jackal just go at it, and I'm just like,
yeah, nah.
But all right, so that is my 2 cents. I heavily recommend, if you are a returning Destiny player, now is the time to jump in, because some of these weapons are absolutely amazing right now, and come the final shape in June, they're gonna get even better, because you're gonna be able to enhance these weapons. So it'll be worth the investment, which is free 99, I might add. But now let's talk. Let's go ahead and step on our high horse for a little bit. I'm talking to you, 1%. Race to World's First enjoyers, Grandmaster Nightfall enthusiasts, Trials lovers, you know who you are. So Bungie has announced the raid date for the final shape. So every expansion has a brand new raid. Every raid has a Race to World's First. If you win Race to World's First, not only do you get the acclaim and the praise from Bungie themselves, you get access to the raid jacket, they also present you with an award in the form of a championship belt with your name and your entire team's name on it as a trophy to show off to the entire world. And every expansion, the raid is usually about a week after the release. Not this time. The raid is now 3 days after the release.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like that makes so much sense. Oh boy, that's what are they doing?
I may or may not have thrown a chair the moment I read that.
What are they doing at Bungie, man? Like, what who did this?
I don't know.
As a person who's on the outside looking in, what disadvantage does this? What situation does this create now? With it being basically half the time.
Yeah.
Less.
So with every expansion, they increase the power cap of the player. Lion? It's usually about 100 points, ain't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So the Race to World's First always has a thing attached to it called contest mode. What contest mode is it permanently locks the entire raid experience 20 levels higher than your maximum power cap. So it's like running it on. Well, you played God of War, right, Jackal? Okay. Imagine the raid mode is permanently for the first 48 hours on give me God of War mode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you haven't even figured it out yet.
Exactly.
That's
We all have to learn it on the fly because we have no. That was what the week prep time was for, was building up our power. That way, the moment we walk in, we didn't stub our toe on a rock and instantly die.
Oh no. Yeah,
would laugh
Bungie
harder
definitely
at
wants to
that
see the
if
chaos.
physics
I
weren't
understand
already-
completely now. Yeah, Bungie
Yeah.
just wants to see y'all squirm. And honestly, I admit I'm actually a fan. I support those kinds of decisions from developers when it comes to action RPG games like that are that function as a service, because you see it all the time, and all of you who play the game religiously can attest to how everybody has their ideal setups and tricks and builds and what have you. And if we're being perfectly honest, people build to cheese the game. You know, we all do it, right? I played Marvel's Avengers. I did the exact same thing. I basically built for the best power types, the best elements, and the best armor. Couldn't kill me, and I would pretty much one shot everything, right? So same thing here. So I
can only
understand.
imagine what you would do in Warframe.
Exactly. Warframe is not much different. So I completely understand when developers want to shake things up and force everybody to be more be in a more awkward position to not give you that prep time, because the point is the raid is supposed to be daunting, right? It's one of the highest challenges that one could attempt in the game. So I'm ready for it. As a spectator, I can't wait to see all of you cry and yell. And
see, you want to know,
but
but you want to know the reason why it's considered controversial, because I agree with that sentiment. I agree with the fact that, people should be thrown into the fire and figure things out. The thing is, Bungie doesn't usually take that approach when it comes to a lot of things pertaining to Destiny. Like, they like to make it so that they want everybody to have some form of a chance. So usually, even when it's like a week prep time, people are still vocal about, oh, I have so much to do and this is not enough time, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, a lot of people don't have that chance. And I would say in the last few raid races, they've made it particularly easier for casuals. And it's not just the 1%, the 0.1% players who have the biggest chance. It's been a lot more people getting those world firsts, But what this creates now is that there's only 3 days prep time. So that means the players who have the ability to stay home and use Destiny 2 as their main, moneymaker, if they stream or if they just have the free time to just play, for days straight without having to go to a job or any other obligation, they have an advantage. And the players who were already vocal about, a week not being enough time, they're basically not even considered in this conversation. So vast majority of players who play Destiny are casuals. So when you create a situation where it's only 3 days prep time, you're not even going to want to enjoy the new stuff. You're not going to want to enjoy Prismatic. You're not going to want to enjoy any of that stuff. It's just going to be, how can I maximize my effectiveness for the world's first raid? You already got people making statuses on Twitter like, need too little time, need somebody who's got experience, need this. There's already, they're already looking.
This is the plan. This is sound the alarm, And I definitely understand where you're coming from, right? With the idea of FOMO and just people just genuinely not being able to enjoy themselves, right? Because at the end of the day, the bottom line should be the player's enjoyment, right? So
right.
Now,
my response to that, I just have a really short response. As a person who has played, who definitely enjoys the action RPG live service style games model, even, Marvel's Avengers, Warframe, The First Descendant, even playing Destiny 2 for a little bit at a time, right? But my response to that is that, you can't please everybody. And I can appreciate Bungie still standing by that decision, because there's always going to be people that are trailing behind. That's just how it goes. Because everybody plays the game at their different paces. So when it comes to this, right, and Jay mentioned earlier, this could very well be the last one. So
Yeah.
if it's going to be, if this is a monumental moment, so no, like we want to see competition like at its purest, right? When you don't have all the prep time, like it seems more skill based in a way if you think about it, because all of you have been playing Destiny 2 for years now at this point,
Yeah.
right? You know how to play the game.
Oh, absolutely. Now, the one thing I will comment on, and I just highlighted Obi's thing about that, like FOMO, there is a little bit of FOMO there, but here is the realest thing I'm going to tell every single casual out there. The Race to Worlds First is not for you. Like, it's not designed for you. It's not meant to be catered to you.
It can be over 24 hours of constant playing. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's why the raid itself isn't going anywhere. It's in the game forever. Race to Worlds First is only there for 48 hours because that is Bungie once a year pandering to the top 1% because they want that extra competition. And that's why the emblem is in play for the first 48 hours, day one completion, all that type of stuff. But for the most part, the prep time, I think, is honestly, and me and Lion were joking about this just the other day.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Bungie's vain attempt, and I'm going to say vain because I think it's still going to happen anyway. I think this is Bungie's vain attempt to make sure Saltagrepo and his clan don't win a 6th World's First in a row.
Yeah.
They're like, we are not letting him have 6 belts. This is bullshit. Somebody else needs to win.
And you know what's funny about that? I had actually countered with that. I kind of agreed, but then at the same time, I was like, this indefinitely like buffs him because he, from what I can understand, is a full-time content creator.
Yeah.
So he plays all day, every day. So he can, sit down with Prismatic and form a lot of, but he can fill all 12, 6. Is it 12, 6, 9? I don't remember how the loadout slots. He can fill all 10, right? He can fill all of those slots with a particular thing for a particular situation to maximize his effectiveness in the world first raid. And other people won't be able to do it that well because they, 1, don't understand the game at the level that he does, and they 2, don't have the time that he does and the opportunity that he does. So this indirectly buffs him. So if it is to nerf Salt, they just failed. Because now he's definitely gonna win.
He's just like, all right, we'll see about this.
Exactly. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would like it. Listen, I'm all for chaos. I like it when other teams shake things up. I've seen other world first races where other teams were in the lead for a bit, and then they kind of like trailed a little bit, and then next Datto or Glad or Salt comes and passes them, and it's just like, oh great, these guys won again. So it's like, I want to see chaos.
My funniest response ever was watching Datto get through the first encounter, and his teammate was just like, "So, do you want the good news or the bad news?" And he was like, "Give me the good news." He was like, "Well, we're on good pacing for finishing. The bad news is somebody completed the raid an hour and a half ago." And he was only
which raid was I forgot
encounter.
which raid was that? Oh man,
Root of Nightmares, the one you and me did.
Yeah, somebody, dude, I remember that.
That
Man, it was
hurts.
rough.
That hurt, man. I was like, you know what? Let's just get this emblem and get up out of here.
Yeah.
So do I have this right? The raid is on a Friday?
Yeah, the raid is usually released on a Friday.
Oh,
so
see, I thought they were on Saturdays. Okay.
Yeah.
Nah, they usually release things on Friday so that people get the earliest possible time to do things from 1 p.m. Friday all the way up until reset.
Wow.
Yeah. So, but since it's a raid race and you only get 2 days, it used to be 1 day.
Mm-hmm.
They made it 2 days. So now you have until the end of Saturday, and if you don't complete it, then well, yeah.
So I will say this, I feel bad for people that have to ask off this close to getting that date. So basically, most employers, sometimes it's 2 months in advance to get a day off.
Huh?
Yeah, if you don't already work, if you don't already have weekends off, you're just kind of But that's always been the struggle of the working gamer.
Yeah, I actually forgot for like a split second about the whole calling off, because that's usually what you want to do. Luckily, I'm off on weekends, but
Cool.
if it's going to be a Friday 1 p.m. and I was trying to participate, I would have to call out because I would have to be ready at 12 to make sure everything is good. This way we can hop in and just instantly just run in at 1.
Yeah.
But there's going to be a lot of people who are not going to get that time off. And then with it's going to be bad.
Yeah, I won't get to participate this year, so I will just have to settle of completing in the first week. That way, like, I'm going to miss out on another day 1 emblem, but I'll at least have access to the raid jacket, which I will definitely buy this time around because I'm pretty sure this is going to be the last one we get for Destiny 2.
Yep.
But all right. Y'all still awake over there? Good. Get rid of this now. All right. Moving on.
I was holding in my inner Chris Rock line. Take off that silly ass hat.
All right. So moving on to the next subject. Ermac saves Mortal Kombat 1.
That's what they said about Chameleon.
Yeah, they said the same thing. They didn't say about goddamn thing. So not only with the release of Ermac, the fabled Red Ninja, comprised by a calculating mistake in Mortal Kombat 1, has returned to Mortal Kombat 1, along with a 30-plus gig balance patch that basically just boiled down to Ed Boon took it upon himself, dusted off his shoulders, walked right up to Raiden and Peacemaker and shot them both in the knees, and then went back to his desk and played Minecraft. So, yeah. Has anybody here at all either been playing Mortal Kombat or at least been watching others playing Mortal Kombat?
I probably had some of the most fun watching Mortal Kombat when Peacemaker first dropped. Same with Omni-Man. Yeah, listen.
Yeah. I may have been a fan of Peacemaker for a little bit. Yeah.
I've been watching people. I've been watching MK1 for a bit more ever since Peacemaker dropped, because when I saw him in like the pose with the DLC characters and he had the pistol, I was like, I'm hoping that he's going to be a zoning character so I could see, some type of, different archetypes, but he looks cool, I guess. But so far I've just been really watching just Jay, Saki, and really just tournaments, select tournaments here and there.
Yeah. Ermac has been a main of mine literally since not even MK9. I've been playing Ermac since Mortal Kombat Deception, which was like Mortal Kombat 6. Like,
I love Deception. I love the story
Deception
mode,
was
dude.
really good. Yeah,
it was so good.
People shit on the 3D era, and I don't know why. I enjoyed it. Unless it's Mortal Kombat versus DC, then that game gets all the flack it deserves.
We don't talk about that one.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
But I think without that, we would not have gotten Injustice.
That is also true.
That is very, very true.
Yeah.
So,
the stage transitions from Armageddon and MK versus DC that's basically what Injustice turned into.
Definitely, yeah. Because I would say around that time I was still pretty much a massive MK casual. So just going to my buddy's house and messing around in MK versus DC, I was like, dog, this game is like sick. It's like, what is this? Who thought of this? Is amazing. It's genius. And then
yeah, definitely highlighting that one. Thank you, Ragnarok. Thank you, sir. Fellow Brotherhood of the Bald. Shout out to Ragnarok. Speaking of which, I personally I just wanted to touch on it for a little bit. I want to, at a later date, go more in depth with Mortal Kombat 1, but I don't think now is the time. I will just take this as an opportunity that the balance patch has been received fairly well. Did it fix or save a game? I don't think so. There's definitely still some work to do. Ermac is a lot of fun, but he takes a lot of time to commit to. And, anybody been watching the salt mines while I stream? It's a growing process. But if you're a Mortal Kombat fan, definitely check him out. He's super duper awesome, especially if you got the Fight Pass. If you got the Fight Pass, you got no excuse. Go take him into training mode. Even if you don't have the Fight Pass, go to the Towers of Time and whatever they're called now. I don't know. I don't do invasions. go play them for free. So yeah. But moving on to the next subject, Tekken 8. And we are going to move you up here. So, Jackal, what's new in the realm of Tekken 8?
Oh, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. The thing we can all agree on is that no one knows what's going on. All right. Nobody knows what's happening. And honestly, I love it. I think it's a great thing. At the risk of sounding contrarian here, I believe the how heavily Tekken has been a legacy game. It's probably one of the biggest things to hold it back. And I obviously you hear hold back and you're like, how? Tekken World Tour has been an amazing success over these past few years. The Tekken franchise has been an amazing success over these years. However, if you really think about it, Tekken 7 didn't truly blow up in the mainstream gaming space until Tekken 7. And truthfully, it was probably because people were looking forward to the clash of legacy styles, right? I remember back when the game first released over in Japan, it was like a beta version, if you will, but it was an arcade version that was released in Japan, and a lot of the Japanese players got to play the game early, or at least an early version of it. And a lot of people in the U.S. were like, well, that's kind of unfair because they essentially get to train the game that we've been waiting on just as long as they have,
Yeah,
I even remember that it was spoken by it was one of the ATL players, and I can't remember exactly who it was. I don't remember if it was Mike or Poke Chop. I know it was one of them. And essentially they said that it even might have been Speed Kicks, that truthfully, if we get the same amount of time with the game as do the Japan and the Korean players and all that, we would be just as good as y'all, if not better. We have this, vibe, this story, if you will, that every time the Asians are gonna end up dominating in Tekken. And that has been turned on its head in a bit in Tekken, towards the end of Tekken 7 and now in Tekken 8. Tekken 8, there's a lot of things up in the air, and there's been a huge shakeup with the introduction of the heat system and just how a lot of moves change, and how there's a much more bigger focus on aggression as with other fighting games. And it's causing some surprises as well as some heartaches as well. So I don't know. I think it's a good time right now.
Yeah, I definitely have been enjoying my time in Tekken 8. Honest to God, I need to kind of play it more, but brand new character, that tends to take priority and all that type of shit. But I remember playing Tekken 7 for the very first time, and it was at Final Round in Atlanta, and getting told that, oh yeah, this is a 2-year-old build, and I was just like, they've been no wonder they suck.
Yeah.
Jesus.
A lot of work. I don't think it gets talked about enough. The reason why Tekken is one of the greatest fighting game franchises, one of the greatest gaming franchises, I'll even go as far as to say, of all time, is because of the amount of work that goes into it very early on. If you really think about it, the past Tekken 8 was in a way already in development before Tekken 7 ran its course. Tekken 7 in a way was already in development before Tekken 6 had ran its course. And if you can recall, there was a game by the title of Tekken Revolution. So all of the mechanics, all of the new tools that become commonplace now that we've seen with the Power Crush system, how armor works, where how there's special moves, right? When Eliza dropped the vampire DLC character, she was one of the first, if not the very first Tekken character to display an actual energy bar, like an actual mana meter or super meter, if you will, right?
Yeah, because that was not a thing ever until she showed up.
Right. Power crushes were not a thing until Tekken Revolution. Namco was already testing these ideals out over a decade before Tekken 8 was even conceived. And Namco Bandai has always been on the cutting edge when it comes to these kinds of things, which is what I think really contributes to its overall success. So when you're talking about playing a build that's already been 2 years in the making. That's pretty much on brand, right? You know, that's what they do, you know. And then on top of that, the way that they release the game is very interesting because they still very much entrust the arcade system, right? Like they actively release new editions of their product in the arcades, which you never really see elsewhere with fighting games.
Yeah, in the US, arcades are pretty much a thing of the past.
Right.
But it is still alive and thriving over there in the Asian market.
Yeah, Dave and
sure.
Buster's we have, but it's not
That
quite the same thing.
Yeah. And we get some we get a little splash, right, of a holdout here and there, right? Like Galloping Ghost Arcade,
Dave and Buster's
arcade,
ball with beer.
Right. But again, seriously, but it's funny because with them, maintaining that relationship with arcade culture, right? Over there, overseas, it's allowed them to gather that data, right? That very crucial player data that they can utilize to further develop their games. A lot of weird shit can happen in Tekken.
And not only that, and this is something I've actually praised Middle Eastern and Asian areas for doing, like pro gaming, professional gaming, esports. That is a 100% legitimate, sanctioned, and praised, encouraged thing over there. Where that is something that is still very much struggling here in the States. It's a lot better than it used to be, but you go to any Joe Schmo on the street and I'm a professional gamer, and they just view you as unemployed. Where over there, like, I live in South Korea, I'm a pro gamer, I play Tekken 7. Oh, awesome. And then they will just have a whole conversation with you. Like, pro gamers have insurance over there, man.
Yeah. Has received, accolades from his hometown.
Yeah.
For his performance in fighting games, which is insane. Like, this guy essentially gets the equivalent of the key to the city, right?
Yeah.
And he's a local treasure, you know what I mean? Like, if not national,
what do we get stateside? Here's a coupon to Chipotle Slugger.
Yeah.
Seriously, that guy, and like you just said, the culture around gaming over in those areas is just absolutely amazing. It's like a fever dream almost, right? You can't even think it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
All right. From here, I would like to take a short second and thank everybody for coming in and hanging out with us. Give you a few shout outs. Of course, thank you so much to the cast joining me for tonight. Marshall, Obi, Saki, Chocolate Beauty, Lethal, MK Lover, Navaflow, our boy Ragnarok, She is Boogie, the Black Supreme Kai, Xbox Live Mike, Sharpia, and a bunch of other names I'm seeing in the viewer list right now. Thank you so much for coming in and hanging out with us. We're going to be doing this about every couple of weeks, and we hope you join us for each and every one of them. And from here, I am going to unapologetically take a page out of Doom's book. And Hoarder,
yes,
what you been playing this week?
Well, let's see. Oddly enough, I've been playing the Stellar Blade demo. I did that twice, and I know there's controversy because of, as the kids like to say, the cake that's in the game.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's a really cool and interesting science fiction story. I think there's some interesting surprises that people have. When you beat the demo, there's a completely insane sizzle reel. And the game looks so massive and expansive. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. What is this game exactly? But I'm very much looking forward to that.
Made by the DOA director.
I'm very much though looking forward to it. I think it looks really cool. Also, a lot of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League and Diablo 4.
Nice.
Oh, nice little zinger there at the end.
Oh, sounds like you got a new viewer, Hoarder.
Ah, cool.
Listen,
my man
player over here.
What you been playing this week?
Well, I don't play much video games here in the old folks' home. No, man.
I'm older than you.
Yeah. I have. So I've been playing a lot of Helldivers 2. Started getting into content warning, which is ironically and yet so unironically funny as a content creator to play, because the whole premise, just one of you has a camera and you're acting like wannabe YouTubers going into a place where you're gonna die. No, it's great. And then we had the that Tarkov podcast I run this morning, which went off with many hitches and ended up with us dying way too much.
I got to give you a personal shout out on that one, because I have always found it, number one, hilarious, but also insanely impressive that you do a podcast while you're playing the game.
Yeah,
it's so unbelievably crucial.
Yeah. We'll interrupt ourselves constantly and just demand clear comms, because if you don't hear somebody creeping up on you, it's like, hey, I just got shot in the face. What happened? And of course we get both boatloads of praise for the play style and also boatloads of hate, because everybody hates exfil camping. Even people that exfil camp hate getting exfil camped in a game like that.
I camp bushes in Fortnite. They can hold that. So, I mean...
Man, before I got to this podcast, I was sitting up on top of a mountain with a 308 rifle, just clicking heads 200 to 300 meters away, not even moving for 45 minutes, because I was like, well, I got to do this thing with Jay in a minute. Nothing crucial. Click, click, click.
In a game, right?
Yeah.
In a game.
Yeah, specifically in a game. No, it's. I feel like Baltimore would have a problem with the other thing.
Yeah,
they get enough of that. They don't need any help.
Yeah. There was a whole show about it.
I never told you this, but one of those guys used to come into the strip club I bounced at.
Oh yeah.
Every week. Yeah.
Tell me it was the guy that played Omar.
No, it
not
was
Idris Elba, I'm guessing.
It was
right?
the guy that was played by John Bernthal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he was I understand why he was so much of a jackass. Yeah, but no, man, I've been trying to play a bunch of different stuff. Heavenly Bodies. If you hate yourself and love physics being weird, try that.
Portal?
No. It's called Heavenly Bodies.
Right, but
no, like you're in 0G, but it's isometric, so you're looking down and using a controller to like grab stuff to pull you around. And you're playing a cosmonaut trying to fix your own space station. It's terrible. And way too easy to throw yourself into space and just be gone forever.
So what I hear is you love it.
Yeah, it's great. Fantastic. Just no more than 2 people, otherwise it gets real much.
Oh, I can bet.
Yeah.
Jackal, what you been playing this week?
Oh, you already know what I've been playing.
Yeah.
Listen, Tekken has effectively consumed my soul. It owns me. It has my name written up on a very long list on a giant wall of other unfortunate souls who have been absolutely claimed by this game. And you know what? I don't think I'm ever going to leave. I'm okay being up there on that wall. It's all right. It's perfectly fine. Do I hate myself for it? All the time. However,
I was about to say, ranked is making everybody question life. Like,
you know.
Blink twice if you need help.
I'm not.
He blinked once, so
there's one blink.
Once, yeah.
I'm aware. I'm very lucid, and I am very much understanding of my decision. Okay, I have no qualms of what I have done about where I'm at. Do I like where I'm at? Listen, ask me in about an hour.
Right?
I do.
Damn!
Wow!
Damn!
I had to do it to at least one person.
See, this is what I gotta deal with on the daily, because it's not even just you, it's everybody. I don't know why y'all hate this character so much. There's so many other characters way more deserving of your disgust. I don't understand. And you play Dragonov.
Yeah, I play Dragonov, so I probably get more hate than you do.
Hello? Like what we talking about? Yeah. No, you need to see yourself out. First of all, sir, I'm just a
Just that
cyborg,
old
okay?
job
I'm just
this
carrying
whole
out my
time.
programming. You are actively destroying people's lives and then like walking off and humming a ditty to yourself while you do it. It's like, no, I don't have a choice. I'm destructive by design, okay? It's what I'm made.
Laughs heartily because he has seen me do this with Dragunov for over a decade.
This man is the reason I don't play fighting games anymore.
Exactly.
Because
But
the
yeah,
only
let's
person I know that
boo
plays
the
them is
Brian
him.
player. Yeah, let's make fun of the Brian player, who is arguably the hardest character to play in the game, by the way. There have been surveys that have been taken about this, and a lot of people say that Brian is like not easy to do at all.
No,
We're not even talking about
he is far
jet
less
up
brain
or
dead than he used to
nonsense.
be. Absolutely. But all right, so he doesn't feel left out. Ryan, what you been playing?
I've been finishing up Resident Evil 4 remake. Been dabbling in Destiny here and there, and ultimately I have really just been loving Finals. It's such a good shooting game. I love it so much.
Like the 4th time I've heard about that game.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I've been watching Gigs play the Finals. Like
I watch Gigs
really
all
fun.
the time. I literally keep his stream on while I go to sleep. I just watch Finals. It's just so good. Yeah,
Ryan dreams about white men.
Yeah, and yeah, keeping up with Street Fighter 6, you know, trying to stay afloat, you know, not make the muscles go down and stuff like that. And with the team, content warning and alien hominid, you know, things like that. So
that is a title I have not heard since I was 20.
Alien Hominid is awesome.
Yeah.
They just
Oh my
did they just do a
God.
remaster or something of
Super
it?
deep
Yeah.
cut.
yeah, it's a really, really fun. Me and the team was playing the other day. We got some good games going in. We're definitely gonna run it back this week coming up. And content warning is still on the table as well. Me, Saki, and Aziz are gonna run that again.
Mhm.
Other than that, on my own personal time, the other titles I've really just been kind of rotating through. A little less Street Fighter 6, although I should be playing more of it. It's just it gets frustrating. It gets frustrating, and I like to just drown my sorrows in another game where, you know, I don't feel like I have to guess every 2 seconds, you know.
And
What you mean? You don't like somebody sprinting at you at 2 frames? 2
Hell
frames?
nah. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's really just
wait. You play other games to take away from the pain of Street Fighter,
yes.
Yeah, he said that.
Yeah.
With his whole
and you
channel.
chose Destiny. We don't play Destiny to have fun.
Okay. You're right. You're correct. But this is why when I came back to Destiny, I only stuck to the things that were fun to me. This is why when I'm in comp and, you know, certain people are like, hey, you want to raid? Yeah. You want to raid? Yeah. I'm like, no.
I haven't asked you to raid in literally months.
Listen, I'm not really talking about you. That was
Okay,
like
I was about to say,
ago.
like, you better be talking about Paul or something.
If the shoe
Real
fits, though.
defensive there.
If the shoe fits, though, you know.
I haven't
Anyway.
asked nobody to raid. I'll go handle it my damn self.
I've just been for Destiny. I've just been really sticking to. I just really been sticking to Onslaught, Comp, and Trials. That's it. Like really, just that's it. But as far as that, yeah, I'm trying to play more Street Fighter. It's just Street Fighter can be really frustrating, and it's a lot to really take in. It's a lot. It's new, and I kind of wanted to say this before when Jaka was talking about Tekken, right? Tekken 8. When it comes to like the discourse around Tekken 8 being like, oh, it's too easy, oh, all these new mechanics and all this other stuff, like I used to praise Tekken 7 because at the time, although I didn't play it, I said that it was one of the few fighting games that really held true to its values, where the veterans kind of really keep a lot of their, you know, strengths that they built upon, and while still having good mechanics where newer players can really come in and, you know, if they put in the work, they could do some damage. But at the same time, Street Fighter 5 came out, and at the time, that game did not release Street Fighter 5 in Japan early. It released all at the same time, and it did away with a lot of different things. So when I see Tekken 8 come out and all this stuff is happening, I'm like, they're going through what Street Fighter 5 went through, in the sense that put the popcorn away. In the
No,
sense
story
that in the sense that, right, like Tekken 8 is having that time where they're like, we really, really, really want newer players and casuals to come through and really do damage. We don't really want it to be this, game where veterans can still have this age-old strategy with Korean backdashes and all this other stuff and really just outplay. We want to make a mechanic that's ham, and players can just impose you on it, and you really have to just defend against it. So that's why you see a lot of people talk. That's why you see people saying things like, "Oh, I defend against it's so offensive, and heat is this, and this is that, and oh my gosh, and blah blah blah." Personally, I don't play the game, so I can't really comment on it personally. But what I'm saying is like,
I can.
Wait. But personally, what I see is that, just as an observation, that's simply that's the time that they're going through, and it really comes down to one thing. You really can't please everybody. As a business, you want to appease to the newer players, but at the same time, you can only do but so much for the veterans. And Tekken 7 largely still catered to the veterans. I would say indirectly. I wouldn't say intentionally, but Tekken 8 intentionally is for the newcomers, and it's shaking things up. You know what I'm saying? It's shaking things up. That's why I see a lot of top players who dominated in 7. They're like, I just really gotta, I don't like this or I don't like that. Like, I just saw a post today about what's his name? The from United. What was his name? What's his name? Damn.
That's not me, by the way.
Listen.
His name is
All I'm gonna
Alex
say is
I
top
wish
players.
that was me.
His name is gonna come to me. All I'm saying is he's changing his mindset when it comes to Tekken 8. He's changing his mindset when it's Tekken 8.
All right, seriously, who did that?
It wasn't me. I wish.
It was me.
Hit that button real quick.
Damn.
Also, what's good, Zeta? I ain't seen you in a minute. What up? What up?
It's just an observation.
Listen, so
No,
here's my
I
deal.
appreciate the input, buddy.
And
I really do.
I'll make this a more broad statement, because it's not even just Tekken 8. It's a lot of fighting games in general that are taking steps to making it a lot more accessible, and also just lean towards a more aggressive style, which I personally like, because let's be real, right? It's very much in any combat sport, MMA, boxing, what have you. People love it when someone gets their ass beat, when somebody gets knocked out, or something snaps, or they get, choked out, or some other violent ending. People stand up and roar at that kind of sight. Same thing goes in fighting games. When somebody gets 3-0'd or gets perfected or no round brown or however you want to call it, people are like, whoa, that's OD. So we're not going to sit here and pretend like we don't like sparks flying in our fighting games. All right. I know I do, and I play competitively. So no, I do not like dealing with tools that seem very homogenized and reduce the amount of decision making for my opponent, while also giving them, very large rewards for those options that don't require much application. So even with that being said, I don't mind Heat and Tekken 8. Why? Because everybody has it. It's not the same as with prior titles like MK9 Cabal, where he has this thing that he can do, but nobody else can do, and he's just literally running you over the entire time. This is not that, So it's not like Third Strike Yoon, who is, or was it Yang, both of them really, where once they pop this mode, like that's kind of game over at that point. It's not that, Or you could look at it like that, but now everybody has that, which is what I personally prefer. I prefer more aggressive style games. I play Killer Instinct, Mortal Kombat, Tekken, but I just don't like it when, you have like a landscape where you have haves and have-nots. And Tekken, I feel, is one of those games where it's very close to having it where everybody can play the game, right? And with the addition of Heat, I think it's a nice change that forces the legacy players to approach the game with a new way of thinking, right? Because evolution is key to success. And it's time for those players to now evolve to the next step of the game, because the game's been changing since the beginning. It's just been more incremental. Now it's like a complete, just a veil, just an unveiling, it's completely new. And I think that's okay.
Yeah, that's perfectly okay. Not to cut this short, but we still have like 3 subjects to cover. We are officially over the hour mark, and I know you don't want to be on super late, so let's keep it rolling. I am definitely having you 2 back on again for an FGC focused Primecast, so y'all hang on to that stuff. All right, so next one we got Hoarder. You are officially up, my guy.
He was very excited there.
He's very excited.
Yeah.
Is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League even worth saving at this point? So we've had a lot of stuff happen with this game. None of it good. So take it away.
Another Marvel's Avengers.
So I would say yes, it is worth saving. So first off, I'm going to come at it from season 1 with the things I really did like. Joker is awesome. Joker is fun to play. Joker has some of the best one-liners of the characters that you can play in the game. His traversal is excellent, and I just really like playing with him. There's a couple new incursions, which are these short missions that they added, which are like about 10 minutes or so, but they're really about just sort of combat, and they don't limit you in the way you want to do that, and that's really cool too. Here's the big problem. When the game was sold, they were all big on story and how we're going to deliver more story with the expansions or with the DLC. And there's one story mission, and it is threadbare. And it's basically, this isn't even a spoiler, it's basically just Joker is a captive of Brainiac. You need to go and rescue Joker. But before you do that, you have to have a fear level of 35. So you have to do these non-difficult incursion missions and things to level yourself up to do that one mission. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a really cool cinema at the end, about 2 minutes long, but I'm really hoping that episode 2 of season 1 delivers a bit more story, game modes, or something like that. The game needs it.
Do you think that season 1 had enough content to keep everyone content?
No, and that's why I'm happy there is an episode 2 of season 1. So if that was just the entirety of season 1, I think everyone, not just slightly upset, I think everyone would have just stopped and been like, what is going on here? Because again, here's another thing too. They were talking about this thing called the Daily Chuckle, which is a version of the Daily Planet that is Jokerized. That's in episode 2. Now, that was not that clear when they had their like little behind the scenes or like preview of what the season 1 was going to be. But how insane would it be if just for story reasons alone that episode 2 is far better than episode 1, when everything that could be going wrong with like a game that you're like promoting and everything has gone wrong. Like that, this game has had some of the worst luck, including, when IGN basically was like, let's destroy this game, when they did 20 articles to like almost destroy the game before it even came out. The
landmark moment of seeing IGN at their absolute most petty because they weren't getting a review copy of the game. It was pretty sad. I mean, I've been there since day 1 for Suicide Squad. It's on paper pretty good. Like the game, nothing's wrong with the gameplay. It just lacks substance, and that kind of has always been my standpoint on it. I actually kind of got into a Twitter war with somebody until I just kind of, it's a troll account, and I just stopped responding. The problem with Suicide Squad is it's not getting the time to breathe that it needs. Destiny 1 was met with severely negative reviews all the way up until Taken King. And then everyone was like, Destiny is the greatest game ever. Oh my God. And then they did the same thing with Destiny 2. Like, Destiny 2 was shit. And then Forsaken happened. And they were just like, oh, it's the best. I see the exact same thing happening with Suicide Squad if it is given the time needed. But they also need the developers to kind of pull their heads out of their ass and realize that we need more than just a 5-mission loop.
Yes.
The shop, whatever. Do whatever you want with the shop. The game's got to make money somehow. Like, if I'm going to argue about that shop, then I need to argue about the Fortnite shop. I need to argue about the Destiny shop. I need to argue about the Tekken shop and the Mortal Kombat shop and the Halo shop.
But the fact that they have no film or comic skins is insane, especially with Harley Quinn. Like, Harley Quinn outfits, there's probably at least 20, and it would all sell. Let's be very honest.
Yeah.
There's 2 or 3 looks for King Shark. Those would sell. The movie look for Deadshot, that would sell. Just like the outfit and everything. I'm not talking about like.
I was just about to say, just the outfit, because you're not paying Will Smith for his likeness. Like,
yeah,
that price tag's too high. But overall, I'm not going to ask the same question that's always been asked because everybody responds the exact same way. What I'm going to say, within its reasonably predicted year to 2-year lifespan, what improvements would you want to see in this game?
It definitely needs to have a place for us to store extra weapons and gear. So my thought for that would be in the Hall of Justice, there are all these lockers there. So let us have, like, because in case anyone doesn't know, you can have 300 pieces on your person. Anything over that, it goes into your mailbox, and we don't really know the limit of how much goes into the mailbox and what could stay in there.
As far as I know, nothing actually arrives at the mailbox because I got that message so many times and would go check the mailbox, and there was fuck all.
Okay, because like I did get stuff in the mailbox, you have to like retrieve it, and it gives you 60 days or something weird. But like I don't know what the limit there is. I've only had like maybe 20, 30 items in there total. But they definitely need to do that because you're constantly getting weapons in the open world and gear in the open world that you're not even picking up. Because the game thinks you want it, and it's giving you like rares, it's giving you more basic gear, and in endgame you're focusing on infamous, legendary, and notorious weapons. That's pretty much it for the most part. So definitely need to have that storage space. Also, new villains. You can't subsist on a game that takes place in Metropolis with only Brainiac and Brainiac's forces. There are so many villains. You can't tell me Penguin's the only one that survived in Metropolis.
We're just fighting AIM all the time.
Yes. And so, I mean, you have all these cool like Livewire, Metallo, and like there's even like a Metallo reference at one point with the character Hero, like a little bit of artwork that shows up.
Yeah,
so
and like there are even Peacemaker references throughout.
Yes. So they definitely need to do that. Another thing too, basically, this kind of goes off something Jay Shockblast mentioned. Basically, get people excited for a big character, and I think with the story, they can't just shove one into like the 3rd or 4th place. I think they have to go with the order, and right now it's supposed to be a gender bent version of Mr. Freeze. It's supposed to be Lawless, which is Deadshot's daughter, and then the big one, Deathstroke. So people are very excited though about Deathstroke as that 4th one. What I would do now, if I wanted the game to continue, is I'd get people excited and kind of let the curtain down a little on those other characters coming, and then blow people's minds with like saying Peacemaker or someone else that's huge for a 5th character. You got to get people excited.
Definitely a good draw for sure.
You got to get people excited again, man, because now so many people are falling away. The first Descendant is coming out this summer. That's going to take a lot of people, especially with the massive changes they've made after the beta or whatever they had last year. But yeah, I think the big thing is that, and then finally, I would say new game modes. We need actual new game modes.
All right, now I'm going to propose this question to the rest of the panel. First and foremost, Fudge there with Young Warrior. what would it take to make you want to play Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? Thank you, Fudge.
Okay, straight up, I've heard more mudslung about that game than I've heard good. You couldn't make me pay for it.
So a massive sale or a Game Pass would get you to download it?
Probably not.
All right, then.
So one thing I've noticed, though, and I will definitely say, almost everyone that gets their hands on it and plays it, a lot of people like it.
The gameplay.
A lot of the negativity is from people that have never touched it. In all honesty,
that's usually how it goes.
Them not having a demo was insane, and I really wanted them.
Well,
they
did have the alpha.
Game.
Yeah,
but
not everybody got
played
it
though.
Yeah. So yeah, just absolutely no go whatsoever for you, Fudge.
In terms, like, I'm already kind of pushed off on games as a service, man. I mean, they, by and large, it just ends up being a repetitive cycle of same missions, or here's more skins you can buy, or, you know, just stuff like that. I'm not enthused by that kind of game. Those kinds of properties just, they're looking to leech off of their player base after release. If they were releasing a game that was worth buying at full market and didn't need to survive off of microtransactions and that kind of nonsense, they'd have released the game with the content. Like, I mean, just by his very explanation, I mean, he got excited about Joker, but I didn't hear word one about any of the other base characters that are there. And DC has this propensity to just shove Joker out there, and everybody loves Joker and they get excited.
I was focusing on season 1. I actually love all the 4 of the playable characters as well, too.
Well, that's good. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's just over and over with DC's properties doing endless Joker content. And
I mean, I'll be the first one to admit I'm very fatigued on Joker. Like, I am 100% down to see somebody else, but Joker is a guaranteed moneymaker.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
But the DC Rogues Gallery for Gotham City is massive. And if you're going to make a game that's got, you know, villains as your front and center,
bring some of the cool ones.
Yeah, bring something cool. Give me Calendar Man.
Give me more villains to fight. Definitely, I definitely want more than Brainiac's forces. Like I like his forces, but I want more.
We're in Metropolis. Give me Metallo.
Yes,
like anything.
Yes.
Literally anything.
Parasite, Livewire. I mean, there's so many. The original Toy Man could be pissed off that someone stole his name.
I demand more toys. Yeah, no, like, give me some Solomon Grundy.
Yeah, well, see, though, that goes back
to
nice to not hang on to that clutch forever.
Yes, I would like him. I'd like him playable.
I'm never letting it go. I'm never letting it go.
So, a fun little backstory. Anytime we would sass each other, especially during my Injustice days, his response to everything was, Solomon Grundy wants pants too.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
The old Cartoon Network reference. Like, I hate it to this day.
Listen, man, I'm just, even without that reference in mind, give me that character. Just give me something that's not out of a movie. Give me something that hasn't been in an animated series in the last 5 years. Give me something from the comic books that you know damn well they don't want to touch because they're afraid it's not going to be attractive enough on the wallet. Like, give me something unique. Same DC shit, same DC channel all the time.
Like Lobo.
But see, them doing a Suicide Squad game, though, is very different. In fact, there was one point where they thought that Superman wouldn't even be big enough, and they were just going to do another Batman game, and then Gotham Knights happened. So, I mean, you got to understand that, like, Suicide Squad is a huge departure for a game, you know?
They don't exactly have the best track record with Superman games, to be fair.
Yeah, the only halfway decent one is Superman Returns, and that one's based off the goddamn movie.
Yeah. There is one based on the animated adventures of Superman. That's actually pretty good. It was a PS2 title, though, so very old.
The Apocalypse one.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're never going to escape that Superman 64, though. They're never escaping that.
Oh, no.
They know what they did.
Burned into the flesh forever.
Flying in the rings, man.
Man. I don't want to talk about it.
I'm so torn because I really want a good Superman game. Like, I played Superman Returns, and just being able to fly at like super speeds, and I'm just like, man, imagine if you could fly to space and fight a whole bunch of enemies, and the fighting.
Think how I feel.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like I really genuinely want that as a Superman fan. I really want that, but I just don't see it, and I feel like it's possible. But at the same time,
with
it's like
him bringing it up. You could low key like it would probably take like 10 years to develop because you're gonna have to make a seamless world where you can literally, like you say, just leave Earth.
Yeah,
just go into the fucking just go into
the
space when you feel like it.
I thought about the resources it would take to make that, and it would be a lot.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You're transitioning between a heavily populated and dense area to an endless space.
You would need like a Grand Theft Auto 6 budget for a game like that.
Yeah, and then some.
I mean, it's
like
easy to work at the
Rockstar and Santa Monica would have to like combine forces. And then EA would have to do the publishing.
What did you just say to me, little man? You say call Bethesda?
Little.
Dude.
Yo, listen, yeah.
Hold up. No. This man just told me to call my people at Bethesda and have them mod Superman into Starfield, man.
Not mod him in.
No, that's
you just fly into your next outpost and you just see a blue trail just sliding across your window.
No, you don't even call people from Bethesda at that no more. You call Microsoft. They own that.
Yeah.
As much as people like to hate on Microsoft,
go ahead and
I genuinely feel like
for me, man. Get on that.
Okay.
You know, as much as people like to hate on Microsoft, I genuinely feel like they actually do right by gaming. By gaming culture and just by gamers in general. I think they actually look out for gamers like a lot.
They're just not running the same race everybody else is. And
no, and for the better, you know, like
I got opinions on that.
Yeah, most people do.
Well, no, this is coming from someone who worked at Bethesda and then watched what happened when Microsoft bought them. Starfield got shoved out the door way too early because Microsoft said, do it faster. And they ended up having to cut so much.
Yeah.
They had to cut so much out of that game to meet Microsoft's hard deadline. Because Microsoft,
because they wanted to use that as a selling point for when they acquire them for Game Pass.
Hey, Bethesda, how long you been working on Starfield? 7 years? Yeah, wrap that up. That was done.
Kind of sounds like what WB did to Mortal Kombat 1. Yeah, we need this out in September.
Well, Discovery. We got to remember Discovery.
Like
that's all Discovery.
Microsoft did Bethesda so dirty when they acquired them that people who had been with the company for years left. Just bye. Lead quest designer Will Shen. I've known that dude since I was 14 years old. Gone. He just bounced. And people were too busy poo-pooing him to be like, well, what happened? All these quests are repetitive. What happened? They got all the wind cut out from under their tails.
We were all too busy laser focusing on the human tumor known as what's his name, Bobby Kaplan.
Oof.
Yeah. Bobby Kotick?
Yeah, I messed up his name, but yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
The former lead of Blizzard.
Yeah.
Everybody, that's really what everybody was focused on. So all the rest of that just kind of got swept through the rug, I guess.
Yep.
But all right, to get us back on track, Jackal, then Lion, what would it take for you to try out Suicide Squad, and what would you want to see added to the game in order to possibly breathe new life into it? I already have a feeling like Ryan's going to be like PvP, but yeah, the face says it all. So
there's no way that actually no, it might be a little bit fun because man, that'd be so cheap. It'd be so cheap. Deadshot would probably be one of the best characters in the game.
Nightmare, yeah.
Deadshot would be an absolute nightmare to fight, yo. So I will go ahead and say that I actually need no convincing to play Suicide Squad. I have every intention to play it in the near future. Tekken 8 is just, it's just too good to put down at the moment. So
that's fair.
Yeah, I'm gonna need Tekken 8 to stop hoeing me on rank points. That's what it will take for me to transition to Suicide Squad. As far as what I would like to see, Peacemaker is right at the top of my list. I think Peacemaker would be a nice little monkey wrench into it, right? Because Peacemaker is neither like evil nor good. He's just driven, right? And you can absolutely
right now.
Yeah, you can absolutely use him as like a kind of a counterweight to the Suicide Squad, because the Suicide Squad is kind of, they're quote unquote trying to do the right job, right?
He's a lot more like Waller.
Yeah, so like in a way, like he'll help you, right? And then at the end of his mission, he like turns on you because he doesn't like the sight of America's criminals, right, being used or being on like soil free or some bullshit. Just make up something,
Yeah,
right?
just make up something.
Yeah, where he freaks out on you, and then you gotta fight him, right? Like it practically writes itself, you know. And then after you beat him, you can make him a playable character. Like that would be pretty cool, you know. Like I don't know, you know, that I just think that you want to talk about get people excited. Peacemaker is definitely a way to get people excited for sure. Okay. Can you get John Cena's likeness? I mean,
they already have it though.
They already have it.
No, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. It's all under the giant umbrella known as the WB Shield. Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Hopefully Discovery doesn't get in the way because they've been getting in the way of a lot. And I really need people to wake up and remember that it is Zaslav and company.
Yeah, David Zaslav does not like make a lot of great ideas.
Yeah. I really need people to understand that this is why a lot of changes at WB have been happening. It is not them. It is the other people, you know.
So Ryan, did I pretty much hit the nail on the head for you want PvP?
Actually, no. That's why I made the face. Cool. I'm gonna have to side with Fudge here. There is no way you can get me to play that game. And the reason why is because it's not that it's necessarily a bad game. It's just when it comes to live service looter shooters like that, I'm just not really interested. Like,
why do people give games as a service such a hard time? Let's be real. Game development in general is super expensive. People want folks to pay one flat out price, as if we don't constantly have to adjust for increasing costs with the introduction of a new gaming tech, software, hardware. NVIDIA comes out with like 2 generations of graphics cards every fucking year. Are you kidding me? Like, we have to be more fair. Now, I'm not saying that every practice is nice, because there have been some pretty I don't want to use predatory because
you should
business in general. Word. If you're going to do that, then just all capital business is predatory, which actually does actually make sense. So yeah, you know what? Fuck it, right? So I have seen some very predatory practices. For example, Tekken actually is kind of making me a little upset with how they did their battle pass. Their battle pass takes 600 Tekken coins to buy out. And you can only buy 500 in the bundle. And like, I don't even think there's an option for 100. So you have to buy it 500 at a time.
Destiny
but the battle pass is 600. Shit. Yeah. So there are definitely examples of less than desirable practices out there, but I don't think that's reason enough to demonize the entire concept of games as a service.
Okay. So hold on one second. So yeah. You're saying that the demonization of games as a service is endemic, and maybe it is, but in a lot of cases, many of those games that people are complaining about bear the brunt of the hate they deserve. I mean, you've got your Suicide Squad, which in many cases people are talking about is a dying game already, having just come out. You've got Destiny, which has survived, the balance of time despite that service issue. But if you want to talk about the gaming industry being expensive, you also have to acknowledge that there are companies out there releasing AAA titles that in many cases, let's just say Larian, for instance, because it's the easiest one to talk about. Baldur's Gate 3 came out, won Game of the Year, and they have never asked another dime out of their player base since they paid the tag. And they're never going to. And that was one of their hardest hitting things. They don't want to charge people extra. They don't want to put out extra DLC. They don't want extra pennies out of you. You pay for the game and then you're done. And you get a fully fleshed out game with every piece of content that they intended to put in it after release right there for you. And not only that,
crowdfund as well.
What, Baldur's Gate 3?
I thought they did. No,
I don't think so.
No, they didn't.
No, okay. They got bankrolled by Wizards of the Coast, but that was their money. I mean, they did the job and then they got paid. I mean, that was it. That was the wrap.
And I mean, even they were able to do that because it was a plan. Like you're right. It's a very thoroughly planned out product like that that got released. But that's also why it's not a live service, because that was the intent. That was the beginning and the end. We see a lot of the same things with a lot of single player titles or like
Okay.
story-driven titles. So
Okay, but not every company's going to be like that.
Yeah, so you know, like that, it is there. But what I'm saying is that if a development company decides to use the game as a service model, I don't think they should immediately begin to receive criticism out the gate, because there are instances, there are models that actually work really well. I point to Warframe, which is probably one of the longest games as a service that's been running in this current generation of games, right? Warframe predates Destiny.
Older than Destiny, so
yeah, I actually play Warframe myself.
Yeah, exactly. Like Warframe has been around for a very long time, and their game as a service model is probably one to be like it's probably one of the better ones to follow, because it still gives you the ability to get all of the items in the game for free.
Right. And a lot of service games don't do that.
They don't, but that doesn't mean that they all should be criticized. I just think that we're being a bit harsh. Like Suicide Squad, I have yet to check out its shop, so I have no idea of the pricing.
You put that popcorn down. You put it down.
So listen, down. Right? So
if Hoarder can weigh in on this, right? Because Hoarder is our resident Suicide Squad, our resident Suicide Squad enjoyer here.
As a show of hands, who here actively plays at least one live service game? Okay, so we all have a good way of
and this is my thing, because I don't disagree with what Jacko's saying, but at the same time, my particular viewpoint when I said what I said is not necessarily, I have to stress this again, it's not necessarily that I'm demonizing live service nor Suicide Squad as a whole. It's simply because I'm just not interested. The game doesn't interest me. Like I personally am only going to be taken off course by a live service game if I'm interested in the content they're putting out. A lot of these live service games, I'm gonna just keep it a buck, a lot of them are boring as hell. A lot of them are not inspiring. A lot of them kind of do the same thing. They all want to try and take a cut of what Destiny tries to put out. As much as I talk shit about Destiny and about how it does what it does, but at the same time, you have to point out that Destiny is really just on top of a lot of what it does, and a lot of other copycats like to come out. It's controversial.
Destiny's very good at what it does,
and what it does.
They tend to do is if they fuck up, they own up to it, and then they listen to their community.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And there are so many other live service games like Outriders and First Descendant. When I played the beta, it might be amazing when it comes out, but when I played it, I wasn't really impressed. I looked at it as just another third-person shooter.
I definitely got that vibe from First Descendant for sure.
Outriders died a very quiet death.
Yeah, and then there's so many others. Like I really dabbled with what was it? What's that one that was based in New York in the first one, and then the second one was DC. The Division. Like I really gave it a chance, but then at the same time, I'm like, yo, it's same things over and over again. It's just you get better stuff over and over, and then you get to World Tier 5, and then it's just like, well, great, what else? And then Anthem.
But you have the Dark Zone, which is right up your alley, if I understand correctly, right?
It kind of is, Ryan.
But this kind of is not there.
No, see, Division, I actually liked. That was one of the few ones outside of Destiny that I actually liked. I fell off, but I'd say it was one that I actually enjoyed. A lot of other ones I don't enjoy. For instance, right now, a live service that I'm really enjoying is Finals. Like I said earlier, I really enjoy Finals. And it really just comes down to whether I enjoyed it enough to stop what I'm doing to really put off, time to play it. Suicide Squad, to answer Jay's question, it really wouldn't be anything that I would stop and play. I saw it. I said, "Yay, the revamp."
You're just not interested.
Yeah, that's really what it is.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as what could they do to make it better that could make me interested, I'm not really sure. I mean, I guess, like some others have said, add some really interesting characters that shake up, how the game is, add some really cool characters that might really just change up the whole narrative. Don't just keep doing Joker. Don't just keep doing the ones that are moneymakers. Really do some interesting, comic bangers that would really
they're not bangers, but I mean, I let's at least admit that they're doing interesting things. I mean, a gender bent version of Mr. Freeze that's kind of based on a character called Blue Snowman. That's kind of interesting. And then also too having like Deadshot's daughter as Lawless. That's going to be interesting. And apparently she might be somehow insanely working for Inner Gang, helping to make weapons for them.
Right.
One thing is the game as a service that I really appreciate as some companies. I'm going to use Helldivers 2 as an example. Helldivers 2, whether you look at it hard or not, is a game as a service. And the reason I say that is they offer a premium currency, which I've had conversations about this. I swear to God, the people bankrolling them made them add it as an option. You don't have to spend a dime.
Mm-hmm.
You can earn
premium currency in the
game. Every run, you can pull out like 100 or more of the premium currency, which means you have access to free skins when they're putting out what they call war bonds, which are what's the term they use?
Basically, battle pass.
Yeah, it's like a miniature battle pass they put out like every couple weeks, couple months. You can buy the whole thing just by the nature of playing the game. You will get the currency to spend on the stuff, so nobody is locked out of new equipment, new cosmetics, new abilities. No one.
Yeah.
And you don't have to spend anything.
2 minutes, guys. 2 minutes.
Yeah. If you don't have time to play the game a whole bunch, that's okay. You can buy it if you gotta, but you don't have to do it. And even then, you don't got it. You can just do it. And one of the things I appreciate about that is that though on the player's side, you're still able to do your end of the service by getting access to these things. On the developer's side, they're constantly making changes to the game, rebalancing everything, adding new mission types. And that's a huge thing for me because we just got done talking about, in a bunch of games cases, doing the same thing over and over and over again, getting boring. Mm-hmm. When they add new missions and give you new environments based on what planets are available, what's been liberated, what's being attacked, it changes things up because you have different circumstances, different environments, different equipment needs. I mean, you can vary what you use, what you take, or what you want based on any mission. And you'll have access to the things that you think you might need.
The Helldivers I actually play, Helldivers 2, I mean, and what's fascinating to me about the game is the fact that they have basically taken marketing and combined it with the story. Mm-hmm. Because the whole thing is basically you have this like a fascist organization, Super Earth, and these soldiers and everything doing all this stuff, and it's very kind of questionable, you know, what's really possibly going on in the background. But they basically preface it like that, and they're like, you have a new order. You have to go to this planet and fight these new things, or this new thing happen, and it drops immediately. There's no like a month ahead of time saying this is what's coming to the game. You are just shocked and surprised almost on a weekly basis that something wild is happening in the game.
Yeah. And they've been taking things out of social media posting, like the fan base is making canon events happen.
Yes.
Just by
one of my favorite things to touch on what you were saying, Fudge, is the fact that you can do it at your own pace. One of my favorite things to do, because I haven't had time to play it, is just log in every couple of weeks just to see if y'all completed a major order or not. Yep. And it's like, yeah, log in. Oh, hey.
Yes, that's wild.
All right, see ya.
Yeah, like I've been doing that a couple times as well. Like over the last weekend, there was a major order to kill 2 billion bugs. I did not participate. I got the benefit though. Like, and they let you stack up, and that's okay. But that's the kind of service I enjoy. I mean, hell, they got a guy named Joel who runs basically how their games Galaxy events work out.
Do we know if that's an actual person or
it's a real person?
Oh,
it's
okay.
a real guy. They woke this dude up in the middle of the night a few times to say, hey, the players are making things happen too fast. You got to make it harder.
Okay.
And he goes over to his little computer, he makes some adjustments, and boom, the players are screwed again.
Y'all interrupted my sleep. Y'all are about to have a bad time.
And we did. I mean, that was like right after it came out. That dude's insane. But it's amazing for the player base because they're actively watching the company support, tweak, and do everything that they can to make it a new experience every day. That's the kind of game of service I'm down with.
Well, see, that's what worries me about Suicide Squad. I still love Rocksteady and a lot of the people I follow there and stuff like that. But here's the thing. It's WB Games, and as Jackal said, it's now Discovery. So I am thinking that they have a whole different way of doing this. And like, they're like, okay, you can't constantly communicate with people. You can't do all this. I feel that WB has their thumb on this scale, and it's not great.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Corporate policy is always gonna do a pretty number on games in
every
general.
time. Every time.
Yeah.
Well, future note for the podcast, I guess anytime I want some serious conversation going, I should just make the next banner live service games. And then just go.
Live service
Listen.
live service games definitely needs its own segment for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot to be
Right.
said.
Jackal, we may run a skosh over. Are you okay?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, cool.
I was just like, as long as we not run to like midnight.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Oh, can I really quickly mention
Yes,
the comic?
absolutely.
Okay.
Before we
Okay.
do it.
So I do a show that's called Hoarders Comic Flex. It's on my YouTube channel. And basically, the comic I'm covering right now, it's The House of Brainiac. So it's a series that encompasses Superman, Action Comics, Power Girl, and Green Lantern. And it's been a wild story where Brainiac has basically found an army of Zarnians. If you don't know what those are like, think Lobo. So an army of Zarnians that were thought not even to exist, and he's basically using them as like his soldiers, and he's come to Earth and taken every meta he can find, which is not his usual modus operandi. Plus, he's connected for some reason to a digital version of Lex Luthor. And now it's basically just been revealed that Lex Luthor's daughter is the main thing that Brainiac wants. And this has been a really good crossover, and it's cool that you only have to follow like 4 books for 2 months. Most crossovers are crazy, and they're like 10 or 12 books for 2 or 3 months. So I've been really enjoying the storyline, and I like Brainiac, and it's just getting more interesting with each issue.
Crash, by the way.
Crash.
Spyro, actually. Skylanders fans. Sorry.
I knew it. I knew he was going to be the one that was different. Whichever one we all answered, he was definitely going to.
Wait. Budge hasn't said anything. He's about to derail the shit out of this.
I'm just gonna keep mine to myself.
No, speak your mind, boo boo.
All right, well, we got 3 to their 2, so we win.
Majority vote.
Yeah.
No, it's Crash though.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
The Jon Snow of Spyro gamers over there.
Whoa. Thank you.
I only played the first one, but I played all the Crash games.
Yeah, Spyro was cool until it was time to learn how to glide and
I
all
only
that.
played the first one.
Oh man, missed out.
I mean, hey, I could always go back. So.
It's okay. Didn't they just remaster, or aren't they remastering or something like that?
They just remastered Spyro, I think.
They just remastered Spyro?
Yeah, so I can always just...
Yeah, you can always, just grab
There's
your little copy.
rumors about a Skylander remaster, but I don't know if that's true. Like the first 2 or 3 games, but I
No, they can put that back. They don't need to do that.
Like that one's after my time.
Those games are good.
My brother in Christ, I worked at GameStop when that game was like really off and popping, and I saw parents get into fist fights over them little things. You know what I'm saying?
My idea is just remaster the game and have all the characters. Don't do the toys anymore.
Because that's the money. That's the money. Okay.
Yeah, merch is always where the money's at. Yeah.
It's not just merch, man.
Got
Those
to
were
amiibos.
the little amiibos were like when you see someone's 60-year-old grandmother getting a knockdown drag out with some 30-year-old single mom over a little character that looks like feet. It's not a good time. You don't want to have to call the cops on those people, but you do.
All right. Fun side topic. Show of hands. Who here has worked at GameStop at one point?
I tried. They wouldn't
EB
hire
Games,
me.
but
No.
yeah.
Oh, EB
so
Games.
you old. Got it.
The
Okay.
deep cut. Okay.
Damn. Back in the
I
days
miss
of
EB
Funko
Games.
Land.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean back when you could negotiate game prices?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I see you got this in your little Funko Land newspaper as $8. I will give you $6.
Best Buy for 4 years, though. So there's that.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, that's fair. All right. Who has like a really wild story from the game sales days? Like I already know he's got one. He just shared one. All right, so I guess I'll share mine then. So I'm going to unfortunately age myself here. I was working during the Halo 2 release. So there you go. This kid walks up and just slaps Grand Theft Auto Vice City on the counter. And I'm just like, I
think I heard this story.
You know I can't sell you that, right? I can get my mom to come do it. All right, well, go get your mom to do it. Mom comes walking in, just hellfire and brimstone, yelling, swearing at me. So I go through the whole spiel. And, like, by the way, the kid's like 6, 7 years old. He is a child. So I go into the spiel. Ma'am, are you aware that this game contains scenes of violence, drugs, sexual themes, and otherwise adult situations? I rent it for him all the time.
Oh, no.
Okay. So I start ringing the thing up. Kid's got the biggest shit-eating grin on earth. And I opened my mouth. So you play this game a lot, huh? Yeah. How much money did you make on the porn studio? Oh, I made about 150.
That gives me every time.
Didn't even finish the sentence, and he goes tumbling out the doorway. Because I worked in a mall store, by the way, so like that thing's just wide open. He just goes tumbling to the doorway. This lady proceeds to just, and I'm gonna reenact it. Just puts it back on the shelf. You have a blessed day, sir. Walks out. Kid is still on the floor, just crying. This lady walks, does not break stride, grabs him by the ankle, and drags him out the store.
That's what you got to do.
Oh, oh.
That was definitely the wildest situation I ever had in GameStop.
Here, let me give you two real quick ones.
All right.
The first one's very much in the vein of the one you just had. You remember when Saints Row, Saints Row 3 came out? Yeah, you remember the pre-order bonus that you could get? Yeah, so that kid's probably like 11, 12, something like that. And he's like,
I mean, what do you really expect from a game that had a giant pimp hand as a special weapon?
The special weapon, of course, for those who aren't in the know about a game that old, was a giant purple dildo on a baseball bat. And so this, like, 11, 12, 13-year-old kid walks up with mom, like, right over his shoulder. And he's like, let me get that. And I'm like, all right, I got to look at the parent real quick. And I'm like, miss, are you aware that the pre-order bonus for this game is a giant purple marital aid to be used to strike other people?
Wait,
Well, I wasn't going to say dildo at work.
Marital aid.
Hold on. So she looks at me and says, what is a marital aid?
No, marital aid is crazy.
And so I look at her and I was like, ma'am, it's a 2-foot dildo attached to a baseball bat. And she's like, what the fuck? Grabs kid, drags him right on out. You're not getting that here.
The sexual apparatus, ma'am.
Yeah. And then in 2009, for the Modern Warfare 2 midnight release party, we had people lined up out the door like GameStop used to do all the time. A lot of them left immediately when a fully armed SWAT team showed up. Not for a call, but because they had just gotten off a call and were coming to pick up their copies. Because they were about to get off.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Great carriers on.
Of work.
Rifles strapped up, helmets, and we're standing out there like.
And they knew we was gonna move out the way. They gonna get their shit early.
Like people ran off to their cars, and we're just like, y'all can't come in here with that, right? And they're like, oh no, it's fine. We're the cops. All the more reason, get out. Go put that back in your van. And let the other people who are waiting get their stuff. The swearing.
Power.
Why were people running to their car? I would have just stayed in line.
Okay, dude. I don't think they were looking that hard towards that
for a SWAT raid.
Like,
I'm not trying to stick around for a SWAT raid, bro. I'm gonna go get to my place of peace real quick.
I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's a New York thing. I don't know.
Absolutely is.
If I'm online,
1000% is.
And
once I saw people still try to catch the fucking train while that bitch was flooded to the stairs, like,
yes, sir.
You're swallowing sewer water at that point, and you're still trying to catch.
If they would have pulled up, I'd have been like, y'all know y'all gotta get in line, right? Y'all know y'all not about to skip me, right? You know we're SWAT around. It's just, we don't really care how important you are. Like, it's just like, bro, I'd have still been in line. I'd have been the only one in line if that.
Ragnarok, to answer your question, Jack and Daxter without hesitation.
Oh yeah, definitely Jack and Daxter. It needs to come back too.
Yes.
But
all right. We have.
So can I really quickly say mine? It's wild.
Yeah.
Okay. Has anyone seen Saved by the Bell?
Unfortunately.
For a long period of time, Dustin Diamond, Screech, lived in Wisconsin.
Okay.
And basically, he would come to our Best Buy with a giant shopping cart and fill it up with games and music and movies and stuff. And I was basically like one of his personal concierges when he would come.
Oh, man.
And he was actually very nice. But it was like wild. Like I would tell him about a game and he'd be like, sounds excellent. And he'd pop it in his cart. And there'd be like, I'd be walking with him and he'd end up having this like huge like cart of stuff. And like there were times where he'd come in and he would look for me or this other person I worked with to help him out. So yeah, it was pretty wild.
How much cocaine do you presume he was on at any given moment in time?
I honestly, when he came in there, I honestly think he was sober. I really do. A few times he came in with a girlfriend.
That's just called functional, man. That's
also,
just functional.
Mr. Brian Warner, back when, we didn't know some pretty bad things about him, also known as Marilyn Manson.
Yeah,
he was there shopping, and he had a shopping cart and stuff. I was unfortunately not there that day, though, because that was the point where they were at the height of their power, like around Antichrist Superstar. Yeah, that would have been neat for me then, not so much now, but yeah.
But all right, moving on to the next subject, we got about two more. So next one up is going to be Star Wars Outlaws. Controversy already?
Opinions. I have opinions.
A lot.
EA behind it, because if so, then it's just pretty much another day at the office.
No, this one is actually under the banner of Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Same difference.
Yeah.
Same difference.
Quadruple A game, right? Yeah.
Same difference. Yeah.
But here's the problem, though. The controversies aren't coming where you think they would be coming from. A lot of it has to do with the incel community, which has been rather upsetting, and them not thinking that K-Vess, the scoundrel / smuggler character, is, I guess we can swear here, fuckable enough.
Huh.
Yeah, so that's one of the big issues people are having. They don't find her attractive
enough. It's MK all over again.
I read this article and I was just like, dear God.
Visibly, if you see like a picture of her, you can see she was based off of what kind of Ripley looked like in the original Alien.
That's actually,
and that's kind of like an idea of where they headed with the character design and everything. And then they even showed the actress, who is gorgeous, who plays the character. Someone went so far as to do symmetry between the character and the actress, and it was the exact same face. It was insane. But yes, there's other controversies as well. So I just wanted to get that though out of the way. That was one of the big ones.
I feel like the biggest controversy doesn't even need to come from the opinions of the player base, or at least the proposed player base. The biggest controversy, end all be all, is got to be the way that they're doing their pricing bracket, but not just that, their response to people being mad about it.
So one issue though too is you got to understand, people weren't freaking out over the Assassin's Creeds, over the other games that Ubisoft does. All of a sudden here, it's like what's his name? Asmongold mentioned it, and like everyone now is like, what the hell's going on here? So I mean, for 10 years they've been doing this.
The rest of the gaming community.
No. Hold on. You want to talk about it's coming out now. Here's why it's coming out now. Ubisoft just got done saying, don't get used to owning your games.
That's crazy, by the way.
Wow.
Don't get used to owning the games that you pay for. They're not yours. You're leasing them from Ubisoft, in their opinion, which means they can wipe them out of your library whenever they damn well please. So, yes, the player base is going to be understandably mad when a company that just said you don't really own what you paid for decides
out of touch CEOs say ridiculous things like that all the time.
Bobby they do.
Was constantly saying loony stuff.
Yeah, but you have to understand there are consequences to your actions. You can say loony shit and then do something dumb, and people remember the loony shit because they take it as gospel. So when you take a game that's come out, again, paywalling day one content, they're paywalling quests outfits, all the shit that games have been doing forever. But the thing is that games have been doing it forever with the auspices that you own what you paid for. And Ubisoft's opinion is that is no longer the case. So when you've got a game that's already $70 and you got to pay what, a base of 110 to unlock quests that are already in the day one code, Ubisoft took
Tekken all over again.
Ubisoft took the outrage of the player base and said, "Oh, well, you know, it's not really a big deal that if you don't want to pay for that one Jabba the Hutt quest, you don't have to. You'll have the opportunity to work with Jabba the Hutt a whole bunch in the game anyway. Then why is it a big deal, and why are you charging an extra $40?"
So I will say that, yeah, definitely that part of it is shitty. Now the $40 is also the season pass, and if this follows suit with the Assassin's Creed games and other Ubisoft season passes, it will be a big amount of content. It'll be like probably a new area, a number of missions, something that's actually somewhat meaningful. Because like Assassin's Creed had some pretty insane expansions to it.
Sure.
But yes, I agree that having a day one mission locked behind having that season pass is goofy as hell.
Like
now,
back before the digital age really took off and you were still going out and buying a disc, when you were buying a season pass, you were buying the promise of DLCs down the line. Those games did not have that code in yet. That's the promise you're buying when you were paying for a season pass. Now when you're paying for a season pass, what are you buying?
So when it sounds, go ahead. Sorry.
There have been some games out there that have sold season passes, and I swear to God, I can't remember which one it is, but it was there. They didn't release DLCs. They sold you a season pass and just never had anything. Like
Lego,
other than a couple cosmetics.
Lego did that, I know.
I know that was one of them. There was another one, and it's been some years, but like basically their game failed, and they didn't have enough money, even with the season pass sales, to push the DLCs through.
Wow.
Because companies like, for instance, I'm just going to take personal experience again, Bethesda, when Fallout 4 was sold, you could buy a season pass. People were already working on the DLCs. They were already in progress. Far Harbor was in progress. Ask me why I know. I slaved over it. Nuka World was already in progress. Companies that do this, that don't have DLCs already in development, are gambling with the money that they're taking in from their player base. And Ubisoft is notorious for this. They do this all the time.
And what it sounds like to me with this Jabba mission is that basically the CEO got a bit greedier. And what they were used to do on day one, you'd buy the game day one, they would pop in like with Assassin's Creed or other games like that. They'd pop in like a little 20-minute mission or something like that.
Sure.
But now they're forcing you to get the season pass in order to get said 20-minute probably mission or short little mission.
And
so
again,
yeah, that's definitely crappy. I agree with you there.
But that's the biggest gripe that people have with Ubisoft, because again, you don't own it. So why would you pay? There are people already pre-planning to boycott Assassin's Creed Red, specifically because of that one statement made by their corporate entity.
It actually makes me insanely curious because to pull back the curtain a little bit, I'm actually a Ubisoft partner. So the likelihood of me potentially getting this for free is kind of up there because they haven't really denied me for anything. Like the last 2 or 3 games, one of which was Prince of Persia: The Forgotten Crown, which is easily in my running for game of the year.
It's a great game.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I'm wondering if I get this from them, are they going to give me that stuff, or am I still going to have to pay for it?
That's a really good question. My guess is they might get you the gold edition. Maybe they'll do the ultimate. I don't know, but like the gold one would get you the season pass. That's my guess.
But yeah, seems like another home run from Ubisoft.
I'm really excited though to have a game where you're not playing a Jedi. You know, that you actually get to be a smuggler, you get to be a scoundrel. That's going to be fun for me. Also, too,
you are like the third person I've heard this mission. Like,
it's got the Hutts, it's got the Pikes, it's got the huge crime families. That's going to be interesting. I'm hoping we get some Coruscant because I don't know how you would have crime families without Coruscant being involved in the story. But
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I'm right there in that boat too because, like, let's be fair. The majority of Star Wars games are pretty heavily revolved around the Jedi. Yeah. And it would be nice to see a change of pace from that. Like, hell, to this day, one of my favorite Star Wars games, although you look at it in hindsight now, like, my God, does it control really, really fucking bad. Is Star Wars Bounty Hunter.
Oh yeah.
And I liked it solely for the fact that I'm not running around as a Jedi. I'm running around as a Mandalorian.
And not only that, you're
22
playing
years
as
ago.
the bounty hunter. Like,
Mhm.
oh yeah.
Yeah, that was 22 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need another one.
Thanks.
I need
Thanks,
another
folks.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor, but it'll be nice to have a game where you are not a Jedi.
Yeah, to take us back to what the PS1 and N64 days of the blaster adventures.
Yep. I want to know how much of this game is going to involve any content that was supposed to be in Star Wars 1313.
That's a very good question. That's an excellent question. Another thing that's exciting too is this is like one of the main Division devs that was like the head of this game. So that excites me too for Star Wars Outlaws. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I will never forgive them for what they did to Star Wars 1313.
Yeah, young Boba
really
Fett action. Yeah, a young Boba Fett centric game would have been so good. But then, you know, Disney had to do a bunch of silly stuff like axe LucasArts.
And then they canceled the Mandalorian game as well.
Yeah, the Mandalorian game got canceled as well.
That's insane. That's like, as far as I know, that's the next Star Wars movie in theaters, Mandalorian and Grogu. So they're like, yeah, let's totally cancel the game. No one likes these characters.
Wait, what? They're making a movie about that?
Yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu.
Movie.
Why are they making a movie? They got a show that's insanely popular. Why would they
that,
bother with
that was Filoni and Favreau's game plan. We're going to do a set amount of seasons and then do a movie because Filoni
kind of like the Marvel timeline, but everywhere now.
Man,
remember they're all under the same banner. That's all the same shit.
Let a good series stay a good series. Why do weird shit like that? But okay,
it's
not my billions, you know.
Let them acquire Warner and just watch Disney complete their own personal Infinity Gauntlet. So
no, we need less monopolies. Let's have a few less monopolies.
Yeah. Seriously. It's like literally a race to see who gets to be the first.
I have no problem with capitalism, but I don't like the idea of
Disney,
when capitalism runs
Discovery.
rampant. Like uncontrolled, monstrous teeth, claws. That I don't like. And the more monopolies, the more of that you have.
And speaking of monopolies, that segues perfectly into our next subject, which is the Fallout TV show.
Man,
yeah, let's talk about another crazy product coming out of another company in that race. you know what's crazy? Like, we know what they're doing, and we just let them do it because it's like, damn, this show is good. Damn, these prices are good. Damn, damn, they got everything else.
Listen, for once in their life, Microsoft and Amazon got together and had a baby that turned out to be a genius. It was going to happen eventually. It just happened to happen now.
Oh my goodness, yo, this is craziness.
Like that. That show is damn near. It's damn near a perfect 10. Like, it really truly is. Unless you're an absolute nerd and are trying to
nitpick everything.
Everything.
Me and Fudge talk.
Oh my god!
Like, people are fine tooth combing this shit to try and.
Oh yeah, but that was to be expected though. Fallout has one of the most dedicated cult followings around. Like,
it's not even a cult at this point. I mean, it's insanity. Like, there are people making up conspiracy theories about games from over a decade ago to try
New
and
Vegas. Is it New Vegas?
Older. There are references to Fallout 1, 2, 3, and New Vegas in this game.
Yes,
or in the show rather.
Wow,
and people
that's really good.
People are like claiming that the show retcons New Vegas. It doesn't. They're complaining that things from 3 wouldn't make sense. They do. They're digging for anything that they can to find something wrong with the show and how it equates to the games that they played forever ago. And most of them are wrong. Someone even went so far as to take an asset from Fallout 3, add a logo onto it to be like, look, there it is. And it wasn't. You can go back and pull the original asset. Somebody sleuthed this out on Reddit back in like 2009. Like, it's not a thing. And I'm trying so hard not to spoil anything because I have so many opinions. Do you know how taxing to the soul it is to slave away in a basement at Bethesda HQ on a Fallout game for months and months and months, and just have all your homies come to you and say, "This is trash." Like,
I said I was sorry.
Yeah,
you should have said it
the
loud.
dev life.
No, like,
That's
it's just
basically dev life, yo. You pour your heart and soul, and they just stomp on it and tell you try again.
The dogs know I'm mad too. They can hear it in the background.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's going to be any adaptation that ever happens, no matter what. Even if it is perfect, people are going to find a complaint to be had. You've seen it with The Witcher. You've seen it with, everything. But this is the age of information. You can debunk most of the nonsense by just, I don't know, let me Google that for you that quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's, people want to be mad and they can't find a real reason because the thing is actually dope.
I think the most nitpicky thing I saw was actually somebody from my own community complaining that the power armor in the show had this flick down scope in front of the visor, and it's like, that armor shouldn't have that. And I'm just like,
why not? Why?
Grow up.
That's absurd.
200-year-old armor.
I never get to that level.
It's 200-year-old armor that's in the hands of a whole new governmental body that can do whatever they want to it.
Yeah,
it can have whatever they want it to have.
Right? Who gives a shit at that point?
It can have truck nuts. Just because they want them there, it doesn't matter.
I mean, they kind of did the equivalent of that in the show. Like,
you mean
this doesn't give away any plot, but like, you see the power armor, and these dudes have they're referred to as knights, and then they have squires, and the squire is talking to the knight, and he's just all bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, just really excited, and the guy, to get him to shut up, removes the codpiece from the power armor and throws it at the squire and goes, "Clean that."
Oh.
Yep.
It was like,
yeah.
Damn.
Damn.
Yeah. No, it's perfect. Like, you can't be mad at it. And it's one of the best things about it. And again, this is coming from someone who knows perhaps too much about Fallout. You don't have to know anything. You can go into this.
I enjoyed it so much.
Yeah, you can go into the show knowing nothing about the series, knowing nothing about the franchise, and immediately understand what's happening, because I'm not saying they spoon feed it to you like a child, but they give it to you in such a way that you can comprehend it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey,
even things that don't make sense in, say, like the first couple episodes, by the time you get to the final episode, like, it all pieces together and you just have that giant
aha.
Like Westworld season 1, which was like, I feel still the best season of Westworld, and also the same creator, Jonathan Nolan, and I believe his wife as well, possibly.
Yeah, that was the big thing that brought me on board, because like Fudge knows this. I've talked about it ad nauseum. I'm not a fan of the Fallout series, not because I think the story is bad. I think the story is absolutely fantastic. It's just Fallout has a play style that just does not suit me. Everything feels way too slow for my taste, and that turned me off from the gameplay quite a bit, but I was always fascinated by the story. And then I heard they were making a show. It's made by the people who did Westworld. I'm in. Like, I don't care if it sucks. I'm gonna watch it on that.
Nah, it won't suck. They know how to tell a good story.
And they're like Kyle MacLachlan and Ella Purnell from Yellow Jackets. I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I need to finish that show actually.
That's a wild damn show. I love
really
it.
Good.
It is
really good.
Also, shout out to Ella Purnell now being the lead character of 2 absolutely dynamite TV shows that were based off a video game, Fallout and Arcane.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She was Jinx, huh?
Yes, she was.
That's crazy.
All right, so that's what, 3 out of 4. So we have Fallout, Last of Us, and Arcane.
Mm-hmm.
And then Halo. We're just gonna move.
I think no. Here's the thing.
I liked it.
You have an ally in that conversation, Jackal.
Hold on. Not really. I'm the anti-hero here. I just like the fight scenes. I like the Master Chief scenes. That's it. Everything else is whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, everything else is whatever. So, okay, fine. I'll level with both of you. First of all, fuck that show, because they completely threw the story out the window.
Yeah.
However, in regards to my guy over here, If you watch it just like a regular sci-fi show, as you would with Star Trek, right? Because Star Trek, you didn't know shit unless you read the books, and most people, well, I didn't, but if you watch it like a
Star Trek, it's like you didn't know what was going on unless you watched the previous show.
Yeah, exactly. And you can do that. And with Halo, you can do that. As much as I hate to admit it, you can do that. It does establish a story. It is its own story with a consistent continuity to it. You can track it, like it's not confusing. If you're watching, like it's engaging, right? There's like drama and side arcs or whatever, and like it all like connects together like fairly well. It gets through. I mean, okay, so the way they kind of just shoehorn like Master Chief stuff in there, which I guess is kind of part of the gag because the games kind of did that, right? Hence him. We talked about this before, him flying a fucking bomb across space perfectly with no adjustments to trajectory or getting shot out of the sky by
after being sucked out of an airlock. No way.
Just
perfectly lands
that bitch. Yeah, perfectly without it exploding, mind you, from the contact of the landing.
That from the perspective. Okay, so like, don't get me wrong. I played Halo front to back like everybody else. Well, whoever.
A lot of them you and I did together.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Here's where my beef with the gaming story came in between 4 and 5.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You had to read not one, but 2 books, 2 whole ass books to understand what happens in the time jump between 4 and 5.
And you had to play the entirety of Spartan Ops in Halo 4. Something which
and that's the thing
people did.
Halo 1, 2, and 3 had perfect continuity. 4, you picked up after Master Chief woke up out of hypersleep or whatever he was in. Were they going to tell you needed to be a novelista to actually understand what was happening in the next game, or were they just going to be like, here you go?
Well, I think they tried to correct that mistake with the live action, step away, right? With Commander Locke.
Halo Nightfall.
Yeah.
Yeah, but even then that didn't fill in all the holes because I watched that too.
Yeah. With Ragnarok, we're not leaving out Twisted Metal. I just haven't mentioned it because
that's right.
I do not have
really good.
Twisted Metal is actually really fucking. Oh, Sweet Tooth is so good.
No spoilers.
Sweet Tooth is so good. That's not a spoiler. He's in the trailer. That? Sweet Tooth is worth it.
True.
Like they do absolute justice. They do more than that. Oh my gosh, Will Arnett. I didn't expect him to be a fucking like. How is he such a great voice for Sweet Tooth of all people? Like
I love Will Arnett. Yeah, been a fan of his
I do too. I've been watching him since Arrested Development.
Yes,
I'm a huge Will Arnett fan. But
I'll be realist with you, I did not have high expectations for that show,
I just knew they were going to fuck it up. They didn't. They actually did it. They did a really good job.
I mean, to be fair, it's not hard to build something great when there wasn't much of a foundation to begin with.
That's also true. That's
you can make it whatever you want.
Yeah, the story. Yeah, straight up, because like everybody had their own story.
Yeah,
and nobody really wins is the whole theme of Twisted Metal. Like, really, nobody actually is victorious. Calypso is the one who wins. At the end of the day.
Calypso kind of technically wins every Twisted Metal.
Yeah. Literally, every story ends up with Calypso fucking you over in some way, shape, or fashion. It's like, well, more of the same.
But to curve us back over to Fallout, like
there's a big spoiler I want to just scream out of the top of my
lungs. Don't do it.
It's what I was waiting on, and I'm gonna get it. I just hope the show doesn't get fucking canceled or some bullshit, and then I'm just stuck in limbo.
No, I think they already confirmed there's gonna be a season 2 for
okay, so right? Yeah, there's a fucking spoiler that I want to scream at the top of my lungs because it was
I think I already have I already think I have an idea of what you're jumping out of your seat for, because everyone just take 1 second and think like, okay, Twisted Metal, besides Sweet Tooth, what's the first thing that pops into your mind when you see Twisted Metal?
Yep, because that's the first thing that comes to my head
too. It is, but we're all thinking it in this moment.
I don't know. I know I think about that motherfucker, but I don't know if anybody else. Maybe Hoarder, because Hoarder's got a good eye.
So here's the problem. I have not seen the show yet. I do want to
Oh,
see it.
you
But
got
you
And then
played the
also
game,
too, yes,
right?
but on PS2. So a long time
No,
ago.
you never played the PS. Oh, brother, that's
Yeah.
when it was at its
Wait,
best.
okay, so all right, I can forgive that.
Twisted
because
Metal Black.
Twisted Metal Black was good.
Yeah,
Twisted Metal Black
that's
was really
the
good.
game that brought it
Yeah.
back. Like Twisted Metal was kind of like on a decline, and then Black came out, and then like whoa, like Sweet Tooth looked scary as fuck. You almost thought that shit was gonna be a horror game. Like,
But hold on, we got to swing back to the Halo thing real quick because I gotta say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So people got grief with the show because the story is way off from the games, right?
yeah,
I get that. Here's why they did it that way. I can almost guarantee it. The story from the game is not easily consumed as a story for a series.
you don't think that?
Who the hell has the clown horn?
Like, it doesn't take much to start, right?
Uh,
Because it starts off as a typical us versus them kind of thing, right?
It does. But I was talking to Jay about this the other day. If you took Halo 1 and just started with Halo 1, you would have 30 minutes of content because the rest of it's gunfights.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't get
But
a
you
whole
don't
season.
have to do that. Like they could have I feel like they very much could have accomplished, because I actually agree with them drawing from, because they do, but they kind of use it as a reference point and not as an actual like focal point. They draw a lot of references from all of the games. Like the
They do.
introduction of Silver Team, right, is actually like a really good fucking idea, because
Yep.
them and the ODST storylines, like they are actually really important in the development of the story past just the gunfights, right? That's
Mhm.
ODST and Reach humanized the franchise. Like it
They did.
gave it like it gave you a reason to care besides just seeing Master Chief do stuff, right? And
Right.
then like you could have did that, but like, and it's like they and this is what pisses me off. They made it seem like they were going to do that, and then they just completely just like, nah, we're gonna do this instead. I'm like, what?
Yeah. But again, it's different perspectives for different folks. For me, and I know we don't want to harp on Halo too much, but for me, I don't want to see the same thing get done over and over and over again. If they just showed me the pre-existing Halo content, I'd have been bored. Like I already played that. I killed that. We did that. It's done.
Yeah.
It's 20 years
It
ago.
would have been fine. Like
Yeah.
if we would have used like 1 as like the starting point of the story, and then like adapt ODST and Reach and 5 even, right, with the whole like Master Chief being a fugitive shit. You
Mhm.
know, like you could have drew that in there a little bit more clean.
I mean, they did. He was a fugitive already in like season 1. Just saying.
Yeah, but like
I'm just saying. Yeah.
I feel like it would have been better for season 2.
Maybe. Might
Like you
could've.
kind of popped the cork a little too early on that one. You know, you got to build up to it. It didn't hurt that much when he went fugitive. Like when you were like on the run from Locke and shit,
Oh,
you as first experiencing that for the first time, you're like, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
everything's fucked. Like everything's upside down. Like what's
Mhm.
happening here? You know, here it just feels more like a forced plot point, just another device to move the story along, and that's what I didn't like. They didn't let other events really take weight, and I feel like they did that because they probably weren't even sure they were going to get a second season.
So you
Because
didn't watch season 2.
I finished
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah,
he
so
would call me on the way home from work to talk about
yeah,
it.
Okay.
yeah, and
Knowing
like,
that
my
I would
thing
be
is, like,
furious.
yeah,
Reach,
and like
though?
the end of season 2 is like it's like they sped up the finish of 1 and then immediately got into 2. With the introduction of the flood and all that shit. It's like
It happened in Halo 1 when they got to the Halo, though.
they did find a flood in 1. I thought they found a flood. I thought the flood came up in
floods
2.
were like,
That's one, homie.
yeah, that was like the big plot point of
Yeah,
being
that was the
Got
reveal right there.
Got it. That shows what I remember. Okay, so I just think the pacing could have been a lot better.
At the end of the day, what we have to really recognize is that when it comes to the rise of good gaming content, we have to look back on where it started, which was 1993. The very first video game asset turned into a readily available medium for the consumer. And it led to the toxicity, the belief from studios that video games were going to be toxic properties. It was Super Mario, man.
Yeah.
It was Super Mario. And you know what happened as soon as Super Mario did so bad? A man named...
Never doing that shit again.
Well, there was Nintendo's side, but a man named Uwe Boll made it worse. Because Uwe from Germany said, man, video games like...
You ain't got to talk about it. You ain't got to talk about it.
We're gonna.
You ain't got to talk about it.
Uwe said, video games are going to do so badly in theaters, I can really take advantage of German tax law.
Yeah, he literally made that movie as a tax write-off.
Yeah.
Like,
His
it was
movies,
pretty god-awful.
Do you remember Alone in the Dark? It was an incredible game. The movie was dog shit. House of the Dead. Everyone's played a House of the Dead game in an arcade. This movie was so bad. It was like watching a B movie made by high school kids. And they actually took
footage of the game. In
the transition screens from the game were used as transitions from scenes.
Yeah, House of the Dead was absolutely terrible. I have seen both those, yes.
I couldn't hold it in no more. I'm trying to like
we're not even going to touch on Blood Rain.
Oh, we're going to talk about Blood Rain. They made 3.
We're not.
Please don't.
The only good thing that came out of that was Kristana Loken's boobs.
That's true.
The DOA movie was awful.
Oh, God.
The King of Fighters movie was awful.
That dude is almost single-handedly responsible for it taking so long to get a good game property into TV or movies. Except Postal, which I will say this was hilarious.
Yeah, and you want to know what's funny? Somehow the Street Fighter movie survived. Like, the campiness of it almost is kind of like its saving grace.
It bombed. Right? Financially, it bombed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we didn't get like, a good video game anything until the first Mortal Kombat movie. And even that's being very generous. Because
when I say it survived, like, people still reference it. You know, nobody's ever going to mention the Blood Rain movie. Ever.
We just
the DOA movie is burning in the pits of hell as we speak.
So Super Mario
still
Brothers
look
is kind
back
of a
on
cult
the Street Fighter movie, and they're like, you know what? I mean, like, I'll watch it again. I would. I ain't gonna hold you.
Would you watch Doom again?
Bison. I like Bison. Okay.
But would you watch the Doom movie again?
Yes. Yes, I would.
On purpose?
Right. Hold on. All right. I think I'm now turning into Fudge with the Halo show as I am with the Doom movie.
With Doom?
First of all, we're not going to pretend like Doom is anything other than kill demons on Mars.
Yeah, you're right. It is that.
We're not going to pretend like this is Shakespearean levels of storytelling. We're not going to pretend like there is any kind of depth to be found there. Like you said with the Halo game, if I really actually use the material, the original storyline that was provided by the games, I would have 30 minutes, maybe.
Then tell me why they needed to do that full or that first-person shooter montage.
That was epic. Yo, you don't like that? So you'll let it rock in Halo, but you'll complain in Doom? Are you kidding me right now?
No, I'm not kidding you. That was god-awful.
Why? Because there's a fucking HUD in Halo? Is that what it took? No, so you want me to put a few pips on the corner there? Bruh, listen, I'll learn some Photoshop real quick if that's what it takes.
Everything was well lit.
Doom was a naturally dark game.
Yeah.
The tones were purposely earth dark tones. Like the ground is gray or brown or black. There are areas where you literally cannot see. You're going into the dark. There's this very low strobing red light that momentarily showcases the monsters that are coming to kill you. So why should Doom be any more well lit? Like, why?
Because to avoid pissing off the Christians, they didn't make it hell or demons. There were no demons in Doom. There were 0 demons in Doom.
All right, it would have been nice to have a random Kako demon flying around with his fucking eye, whatever. Sure,
like even Rock Johnson wasn't a demon; it was an alien super soldier. That is the bullshit they went with.
I mean, if you really want to get into it,
I do.
technically speaking, in
Oh.
Doom, they were
Mm.
actively researching the monsters that they found on Mars,
Which were?
which is why it went fucking awful, because
What
they
were
were
they?
trying to tap into the powers that they found there,
Of hell?
and it went horribly wrong.
Of hell?
Why did that was hell? They were demons.
Yeah, like ultimately that's what it was, but like it starts off as like aliens, like they think that they're fucking aliens, and then as you get deeper, because when you start the first game, you don't know what the fuck they are, you just think they're monsters,
right? But you're wrong,
and it's not until you get way later in the game, and then all of a sudden the elements of hell start to appear, and you're seeing now that you're actually descending into a portal into hell. You don't get that far, you don't get there until way later. So again, if you just go off of the initial, you know what I'm saying?
That was
like even in the like even in the third one, they kind of like rebooted it, right? Huh?
This is some good ass popcorn.
I'm just saying there weren't no demons.
Like I'm not.
There weren't no hell.
I think the Doom movie did its job. Was it great? No. Was it entertaining? Yes. I think it did exactly what it was supposed to do. Did it start to get real wonky with the
Carl Urban apologized to id?
There was no need for that. There was no need for that. There was absolutely no need for that. I think they just got real tight at the Marine showdown part, right? And I mean, like, you want to know what's really funny? They kind of did that in Eternal. They have the Doom Slayers that are basically you, but held out, like the hell versions of you. So, like, you kind of ended up, making the shit canon if you really want to get into it. But, I'm just saying, you got the good Doom guy and the evil Doom guys. And that's essentially what that was. And
by the way, Jackal, you know how enthusiastic I am about Destiny and Destiny's lore and all that? Beat the Doom guy.
So that makes this worse. No.
Here's what I know. I've been playing Doom since I was this tall.
Yeah.
Okay? Pocket sized. I worked on Doom. He is taller than me. I worked on Doom when I worked at Bethesda, the 2016 version. That movie was an affront. It was some nonsense. If you wanted to call it anything else other than Doom, you could have done that. Okay, you could have called it anything other than Doom. There was no Doom because there was no hell, and because there was no hell, there were no demons.
Oh my god! You're really gonna do that? You're really gonna do that? Yes. I did not need to see the hell stuff. I just wanted to see Marines go to space.
Okay.
To answer a distress call on Mars.
Yeah.
Which goes horribly wrong, and they have to use their grit and whatever weapons they can find.
You just described like 100 different sci-fi properties.
That's true. That's true.
Alien. No. You want to go watch a movie that does that? Go watch Ghost of Mars.
Aliens is amazing.
I did. I enjoyed myself. I very much like Ghost of Mars. I am a huge John Carpenter fan. You do not want to go down this rabbit hole with me, sir.
I enjoyed Ghost of Mars, but it's Ghost of Mars inside a building instead of outside a building.
Event Horizon, if you like hell too.
Now,
exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like Doom is following the same blueprint as so many others have. So again, I am not,
to be fair,
surprised. Like I am not
off of Doom.
Huh?
A lot of those blueprints were built off of Doom. Think how old that property is.
I mean, you can run it on ATM machines now.
You can.
You can.
Oh my God. I think I had a copy of it on my calculator.
You run it on a calculator.
Now that I think about it.
That's what I'm saying.
No, real talk. I saw what they were trying to do with the Doom movie because it was riding right off the coattails of Doom 3, which took place almost entirely on Mars.
Yep.
But they left out the biggest part of it. Hell. So
like one of the greatest things about that entire game, and I give Doom 3 a lot of shit. Doom 3's biggest claim to fame was that they didn't render the dark space, which made it so much worse to be in survival mode in your brain, because if you didn't have light, there was nothing to see, nothing in shadow, nothing in the dark, nothing barely visible. There was nothing visible if you didn't have a light on it or some light emanating on it.
Yeah, you had to pick because you couldn't hold the flashlight and a weapon at the same time. You had to choose.
Yep.
That was excellent.
It was amazing, but you didn't have that kind of ambiance or even that fear in that movie because, again, and I hate to harp on this thing because I feel like I've said it 1,000 times, hell was not involved. I'm just saying, like, you know,
instead of hell, it was an ancient civilization.
Okay, hold on. Let me ask you this question. I mean this completely seriously, okay?
All right, real quick, 2-minute warning.
Fine. If you watched the Resident Evil movie and I told you there were no zombies,
that's not the same. That's not the same.
Isn't
you
it?
Get the imps.
Your primary antagonist doesn't exist. It is something else.
Because you get the imps, you get the like bruiser types. I forget what they're called. The
Barons. I'm asking you straightforward without going into any of the alternates because Resident Evil has alternate enemies and Doom has alternate enemy types, varying types, whatever. If your primary antagonist for the franchise that you know and love forever is not the antagonist, but it's something else goofy that they changed the storyline to accommodate, are you cool?
Imagine
I would not be.
You would not be cool. You would not be cool, right?
I would not be.
Okay.
But can you make that argument for the enemies in Doom? Because technically, Doom had convert enemies, people who used to be human, who got converted and turned into monsters.
Absolutely. But they were still possessed by demons from hell. From hell, which isn't in the movie. Like, it all comes back to hell, man. It all comes back to hell. If you don't have hell, there's no Doom because there's no Doom with no demons.
There's a philosopher that said hell is other people. I can't recall who said it, though.
Wasn't there a line in the Doom movie of like, this place is hell, it's always been that way? And it's like,
not ain't.
Yeah, the cheeky reference. That's what they did in Halo, you know, with the Master Chief wake up. Yeah, I was not a fan. I was like, fuck you, Paramount. All right.
Yeah.
But all right, we are approaching closing time.
Wing Commander was a good movie. I'm just saying that.
Go fuck yourself. Good night, everybody.
Yo. Oh my god.
Right. The rest of your facial hair burn for that.
Don't be mad because I'm right.
Oh my gosh.
The movie was excellent. Better than the Assassin's Creed movie.
Yeah.
That you are not wrong.
Thank you.
Woo, that was a piece of shit.
Better than
But alrighty, folks, that is going to wrap us up here for episode 1 of the Primecast. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your support, and we will be back in a couple weeks. We're going to try and get some more guests in and out. If people want to return, they're more than welcome to. But for the most part, before we get out of here, Lion, won't you do me a favor and put yourself on the map to let people know where they can find you?
Sure. You can find me on Twitter at @true_Lionheart. You can also find me on Twitch at True Lionheart, except the O in Lion is a 0. And that's pretty much it.
All right. And I will see you backstage. Jackal, go ahead and put yourself on the map. Where can people find you?
Yes. So if you haven't noticed, right below my little name tag here is my handle on all social media. So Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. If you dare, you can find me at Pretty Boy Jackal. I also go by The Armory on Twitch. So if you ever see Watch The Armory pop up in your chats, hello, how do you do? That is yours truly, just stopping by to say hello. And I appreciate all of you for having me on tonight. Thank you so much. And for those of you that do stop by my stream, definitely feel free to hang out. I specialize in fighting games with a penchant for single player driven story titles, as well as your everyday action RPG.
Awesome. All right. I'll see you backstage. You.
I think he's talking to you, Hoarder.
No.
He might be.
Fudge, please put yourself on the map.
You can find me at twitch.tv/FudgeGrande. Also on TikTok for as long as that lasts at the same thing.
All right. See you backstage.
See you.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a night.
Yes. A very exciting evening.
All right, Hoarder, put yourself on the map.
Okay. If you're a glutton for punishment, you can see more of me at twitch.tv/HoarderGamer. Right now, doing a lot of Diablo 4. I'll be doing Stellar Blade starting later this week. Let's see. And then also Hoarder's Comic Flex. That's on my YouTube. Yeah, that's on my YouTube channel, and that's Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central.
All right. I will see you backstage.
See ya.
All right. All right, chat. And obviously you're here, so you already know where you can find me. So as always, hit the follow button if you're new. If you want to further show your support, no matter where you're watching this, no matter what the platform, be sure to hit that follow button or subscribe. It really helps out. Thank you again for watching for the return of the Primecast. This was definitely a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing this again. So thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.